The 93X Half-Ass Morning Show podcast is sponsored by Standard Heating and Air Conditioning.
Standard Heating and Air is looking for an accounting administrator and customer service representatives to join their team. Learn more at standardheating.com/careers today.
The 93X Half-Ass Morning Show. 93.
Hey, Nick, how you doing? Al here. I know you're super busy. You got a lot going on. There's something I've been meaning to tell you, and I'm afraid it just can't wait any longer. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Nick. Happy birthday to you.
I'm at that age when you have a birthday, everybody cheers you up. It's your birthday. You're supposed to be happy anyway. And they're like, why are you so sad, birthday boy? Why are you sad, birthday boy? Right? And I'm like, because my dreams are dead. And they're like, what do you mean your dreams are dead? No, they're not. You can still achieve them. Age is just a number. I'm like, you're right. It is. Oh my gosh, that's a genius statement. Wow, thank you for that knowledge. That's science. Age is just a number. And if you look at it like that, then do you know what death is? It's just letters.
Turned 29 recently. I had the worst birthday ever. I got into a car accident on my 29th birthday. It sucked. I was in South Carolina. What really sucked about it is I was in a car with 3 strange women, and I think I had a good shot at the one that was in the back seat with me, but once the car accident happened, that kind of threw everything off. It's kind of hard to jump back in the game after you were in the ER for 10 hours. You can't pop out with stitches. So where were we?
Look at the time.
Well, what time is it?
It's showtime.
Came around for me again, Cubby.
He did it.
It came around for what happened?
Well, you said yesterday off air, what you'd love is if Wapple kind of hit you up with some music he thinks that you'd find awful.
Yeah.
And I think he did.
I think I did it.
Oh, I actually didn't even notice how awful the music was. I just noticed how friggin' loud it was.
Yeah, it was very loud.
Yeah, it was.
Sure. Okay, yeah.
I'm picturing you and I like we're on a dirt road together in my broken down old pickup truck.
You guys got a dog in the back?
Yeah, it's at dusk.
That's what this music makes you think
Yeah.
of? Yeah, I mean, this is pretty bad. It doesn't compare to yesterday, but I do love the gimmick. I love it. Keep it up. Whenever you can, throw bad songs at us to start the show.
That's a nice way to start Nick's birthday.
Well, my 53rd damn birthday. Couldn't have happened to a nicer guy. Welcome to the 93X Half-Ass Morning Show. And still, that Weird Al birthday gimmick is just the coolest thing I've ever heard.
It's awesome. The technology behind it's so cool. I forget, is it AmericanGreetings.com? I forget the exact website, but if you can search for it, Weird Al birthday generator or something like that. And if you want to get one for yourself, you type in your name, you type in your age, and it instantaneously puts a whole video together with your name and age in this. I don't even know how they did it. It's crazy.
And it's free?
Free.
Yeah, and like they had the balloons spell out your name and everything like that.
The
It was
video.
crazy.
So yeah, I mean, maybe you give your computer 10 to 15 viruses, but it's worth it.
Technology. It's frustrating, but yet can be a beautiful thing. And when Weird Al and his boys get together and sing a song, it's beautiful.
It is. Everything, and he's starting out so genuine with his birthday wish to you, and then they kick it into song.
Yeah, it happened again.
I got you a little something.
You did?
Yeah, take a look at this.
You're such a dick. I mean, I didn't I say don't get me, because just a few months ago you got me this, that. You're always getting me things.
Yeah. People can't tell me what to do. I'm my own man.
And I never get you anything.
That's fine. I kind of like that bit, actually.
Do you?
To be honest with you. I don't want anything.
Yeah, Josh doesn't like gifts.
It makes me uncomfortable.
I've been criticized by people, including my friggin' wife, because she knows you're always getting me things and I never get you anything.
That's fine. This is my love language, I've been told.
She fears that one day or another you'll stop being friends with me.
Never.
Because it's so one-sided. Okay, Josh has a big gift bag here
I'm pretty
for
excited
me.
about this, actually. Did you notice it's all pink and red whatever that paper's
Pink and
called.
red, what do you call
Tissue
it?
paper?
Tissue paper.
That's out of love.
Oh, God, it's, and there's a big, heavy box in here.
Yep.
And I'm going to go ahead and take a look at what it is, by damn. Wow, you're kidding me.
I wouldn't kid about something like that.
This is really a wonderful gift, what he's given me here. At least the box. Is this one of those things where I look in the box?
I pooped in there.
It's just poop.
I mean, the box is a Yamaha finger drum pad. And I've heard of these things before where you can
Yep.
drum with your fingers and it'll make it out like you're playing a real drum set.
Oh, that's awesome.
And there's a ton of drum sets you can choose. It looks really cool.
So it's kind of like a miniature version of those electric drums that you and I got our hands on a number of years ago. Is
Yeah.
that?
I thought maybe, this could...
If I had the intelligence to open the box, I could. So far, I cannot figure at all how. Go ahead, explain further, because this is.
I think, we can get some cables to even hook it up through the system here if you want to jam.
Dude.
Oh, gosh, yes.
I don't have them now, but...
When I was a kid, I was a drummer when I was a kid, and we had a mostly terrible high school rock band. Our lead guitar player was very talented. The rest of us were just there to try to get laid. But, I thought I had a decent skill set for my age. But speaking of technology, I used to always fiddle around with my fingers, and I could go faster than hell and keep any beat with my fingers. And I used to always say, man, if someone could create a drum set where I'm just rapping around with my fingers, I could be Lars Ulrich, right?
Yeah.
That was 40 years ago. Now, today you can actually, have that kind of a system in front of you.
I didn't even know that. I had Googled it once because I was trying to think what's something you'd like and would never get for yourself or ever think of. And so I'm like, I wonder if there is because there's, like you said, there's obviously there's the kits, the electric drum kits. They make these drum sticks where you hit stuff. Have you seen those?
I have seen those.
And I had considered that until I saw this thing.
Remember many years ago when we had some dude in studio? I don't know what the hell. It was really a weird morning. Our guest in studio was some dude who goes town to town and puts on these drumming contests. And one of the, events in these drumming contests was pure speed with the drumsticks. Do you remember that guy? And we measured the speed.
God, I
don't
remember that at all.
Usually I'm the one who forgets.
I know, yeah, I don't remember that.
So like when a drummer's doing a drum roll, he's just, and he measured my speed. You don't recall that?
No.
Anyway, he said I was one of the greatest he'd ever seen. All right, wow, this is incredible. This is, I can't wait to set this up. I'll have to have you show me, but thank you very much, Josh, again, for the wonderful gift-giving abilities that you have.
Yeah, you're a great gift giver.
Well, stop that immediately. I mean, there's so many ideas floating around on what would be a good gift for you. Obviously, I know you're not as into it as you used to be, but you were a lifelong hockey fan.
I was for many years. I don't follow it very closely anymore, but yes, when I was growing up, there was nothing more important to me than Golden Gopher and North Star hockey.
I mean, you've had a lot of these over the years, so like an autographed hockey jersey might not have been a bad idea.
No.
By Shorzy. An autographed Shorzy hockey jersey might have been a cool gift.
It'd be an awesome gift.
You know what? What am I going to do? Complain? The guy just got me a $2 million finger bang drum machine. If he wants to get my blood pressure skyrocketing with some Shorzy jokes, I can't complain.
I know, too, like, you're busy and you've got a wife now at home and it's tougher for you to get out, so...
Yeah.
Season tickets might have been a decent idea for you.
Oh, I'm just going to play along. Season tickets sounds great.
Yeah, I mean, like for professional soccer and your seatmate is Dana for every single game.
Yeah, you and I watching some low-level soccer together. How great would that be, Nick?
Man, and all soccer is low-level.
And what if I wanted you to think of me every single month and let you know that, hey, I haven't forgotten your birthday? And what a better way to do that with than the Ketchup of the Month Club. You know, there's so many different types of ketchup out there. We could easily find 12 ketchups.
Ketchup of the Month Club. I don't know what I would do with all the vomit.
And it's not necessarily a gift, but I thought about throwing you maybe a surprise themed birthday party. You love the themes
are the best. Ooh, could we make it like, say, Star Wars or...
Yeah, I mean, really up to you.
Then I'm just straight up touching myself if I have a Star Wars themed.
And then we can, instead of a DJ, we could have it hosted by Wapple's group of friends who've given themselves the moniker the Doink Gang.
Oh, man.
I love those guys.
The Doink Gang emceeing a themed birthday party for Nick.
Spinning tunes for
I've been
Nick.
around those guys a few times. They're frustrating.
We'll just hand Wapple a Shure SM58 and say, go for it.
Well, I wonder how quickly I could... I don't see a power cable for this.
So that's... I was wondering if it did... I'll get you one. I was wondering if it didn't come with that. It didn't say it on the box, but I thought, well, of course they're going to give a...
Well, what is this?
Yes, so you can charge it through a computer.
Oh.
Let me see I wonder if that'll work on your...
Yeah, well, we can figure it out. We'll figure it out during commercials. But again, thank you very much, Josh. That's an incredible gift.
Oh, yeah.
It's the the Yamaha Finger Bang drum machine. And maybe at one point or another I can play you as a solo.
Oh, it looks like it's got some charge.
It's got charge to it? Josh says. It's charged up already?
Yeah.
So, all right, I'll put this in front of my microphone and see if I don't know what I'm doing. Well, we'll figure it out during commercials, but that's incredible. I wonder if I can do it right. I wonder if I can do it justice.
You'll have to mess with that tonight.
I will.
Yeah.
I will. I'll come back tomorrow, and I'll play you the intro to Over the Mountain by Ozzy Osbourne off of his Blizzard of Oz record.
I think that's what you played on some stripper butts.
Mm-hmm. Or was that Diary of a Madman? Anyway, did I play Over the Mountain on stripper asses?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, wow.
And I think you played Bark at the Moon, too.
Yeah, I remember it was Bark at the Moon, for sure, Aces High by Iron Maiden, Bark at the Moon, Ozzy. I don't remember Over the Mountain, but that's incredible. What a great gift. So here we go. It's my special, I guess, birthday broadcast. Did you know that on the day my brother and I were born, 53 years ago today, we were driven to the hospital by a drunk man?
Was your dad drunk?
No, it wasn't our dad.
Oh, it wasn't?
He was out of town. It was my mom's oldest brother. Drove my mother with two squirming fetuses inside of her. He drove her to the hospital drunk. My sister called me last night to wish me a early happy birthday and told me the story again, which is pretty good stuff. My uncle
I'm sorry to interrupt. How old was your sister? Is she 3 years old?
She's 3 years older. So she was Summers else that night, too. My mom, I think, had sent her off to stay with somebody because she knew any minute now these twins are going to come cartwheeling out of my privates. So my uncle had been living in Maryland with some lady. He married her. He was very young still. And she dumped his ass. So he drove, pissed off, all the way from Maryland back here to Minnesota. I don't know if he stopped. He just drove all the way home, just the entire time ringing the steering wheel. That no good bitch. Right, he gets dumped by his... He drives all the way to Minnesota to my parents' place, gets drunk off his ass, right? Because, he's finally able to cut loose and get some of the frustrations out from this failed marriage that he had cooking out in Maryland. And gets drunk off his ass at my folks' place. My mother was the only one there. And then my mother wakes him out of a dead sleep to drive her to the hospital. And he more or less said, look, I've been drinking and she said, let's go. And so a drunk man drove my mother to the hospital.
That's hilarious.
Mm-hmm. 53 years, huh? You'd think I'd know things, but I still don't.
Was that the last time you saw a drunk man in your family? Has there ever been a story since?
Yeah, the Bournes and the...
lesson learned after that?
And my mother's side of the family, yeah, we never touched the stuff again after that because it was such a traumatic evening.
How much older is your brother than you?
4 minutes.
4 minutes?
Right.
Does he... I think if I was a twin, I'd wear out the joke. Like if I was born first, well, Wait till you get to be my age.
Oh yeah. I
You
would
know,
use that all the
he's
time.
never played that gimmick.
Oh, I would use it constant until my brother beat the hell out of me.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and
he's-
everyone around me beat the hell out of me.
He's never played that game. Mainly because we really have very little repertoire between the two of us. So,
Is there much of a give and take?
pardon me?
Is there much of a give and take between you and your brother ever?
Ball busting?
Yeah. As adults? Because,
yeah, of course, yeah.
Usually when I've seen him like at birthday parties and a couple family events you've been nice enough to invite me to. And, but you guys are so busy talking to other people. And then same
Right.
with, he joins us on a lot of our events.
I think he's going to show up Friday night for this silly boat ride. You're not going to be there. But anyway,
Can I talk him into going to the wedding instead of my wife?
I don't think he'd mind going to the wedding with you.
That'd be awesome.
But yeah, you see us around at different events.
And you're both busy talking to other people, so I guess I really haven't seen the two of you interact much.
Well, now that
outside of when he carried you to the boat the one year you had a bad leg.
I had gout so bad he gave me a piggyback ride all the way through Stillwater to get us on the boat on time. Our Independence Day boat cruise. That was the setup once. Well, yes, Josh. Now that we're older, we ball bust back and forth. But when we were younger, we didn't play that game because it usually ended in a fist fight. My brother did not enjoy that style of, bonding when we were younger because he would always react violently. But now that we're older, yeah, of course it's different. The odds of us throwing hands at this point are pretty low.
How about now? You and your sister definitely have one. She's very funny and biting. She's kind of a female you. Does she ever get you, with a pretty good zinger every once in a while where you're like, oh boy, that was good. I don't know how to come back from that.
Absolutely. You know that my sister and my friggin' wife, they've known each other as long as I've known my friggin' wife, 35, 37, 8 years, whatever, right?
Yep.
So now that my friggin' wife is my friggin' wife, most of the time that the three of us are together, it's the two of them attacking me.
Yeah, you've told me off air some stories. They'll go after you about some weird stuff at times.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, they pick apart every damn thing I say and every damn thing I do. It's history repeating itself. I am now my dad, because that was his operation, was constant grief from my mother and whoever her friend was in the room at the time. Yeah, so my friggin' wife and my sister are constantly antagonizing me.
In between those, ribs that they're giving you, does my name ever come up? From the lips, the luscious lips of your sister, the kissable lips, which I have been there. Have they ever
you want to know,
uttered my name?
You want to know if my sister ever talks about you when you're not around?
Every once in a while?
Cue up the Hulk Hogan, Wapple.
Well.
The answer is yes.
The one that got away.
We've covered this before. You blew it.
Yep. And what have you always said about me and your sister?
Well, you told me years ago when we were young. In our 20s, for Christ's sake.
Yeah, we were young
And look at me
men.
now. Here we are sitting here on my 53rd godforsaken, awful, miserable, pointless birthday, right? Here we are. When we were in our 20s, we were illing together. We'd go out and just ill. Wouldn't we?
We would.
Did you guys have a license to ill?
We didn't even have to have one.
Didn't need one.
We got pulled over once. A cop said, "Do you have a license to?" Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't know who this was. You guys don't need a license.
We didn't need a friggin' license to ill.
He put himself on administrative leave for almost asking us that question.
I remember that.
There was a review.
The commander took him off the force. Give me your badge and gun, sir.
We'd go out, Cubby and I. And one night, my sister shows up, and there was electricity between the two of them instantly. Because they were both, desperate people.
Well, and she had just, was that pre or post?
Pre.
Okay, oh, thank God.
Don't even mention the nightmare.
Okay, thank
Don't
God.
even mention the nightmare.
Good, I feel better about that then.
Yeah.
I couldn't remember what the order was.
All right, well, we got to let folks in a little bit on what we're talking about. There was a dude she dated.
Yeah, it's crazy.
There was a dude she dated after she made out with Cubby, who was just the worst.
Yeah.
I mean, she's made some bad decisions with boyfriends before, but this was by far.
I couldn't figure that out. That shocked me.
Nobody could. New guy was in the corner puking his guts out. When he, so there was a night where you and my sister, you made out.
We did. I got to second base that night.
Right. And Josh tried.
Above the shirt, to be completely
Was
frank.
it above?
It was above the shirt.
Josh tried to get on my case, and give me some grief by saying, hey, I went to second base with your sister. And I flat out said to him, I said, I don't know anybody who had to stop at second base with my sister. What the hell's wrong with you?
Yeah, he hip tackled me.
Yeah. I don't know anybody who stopped at second base with my sister. What is something wrong with you?
Yeah, cut the legs right off of me on that one.
The base coach is always signaling, keep going, keep going.
Hey, what are you acting like you accomplished something? So anyways, thank God I'm not a parent as I look at myself at 53 years old. I'd have the most violent, antisocial, uneducated, bizarre, intoxicated children in town.
Well, I think the last one, but the rest I don't believe. They might be intoxicated.
It happens on your birthday when you get to this age. You start looking back.
Do you feel old?
Some of me feels old.
Do you? I have this every once in a while where I think, man, I thought I'd be a lot smarter at this age, or I thought that I'd be a little more put together. Because it
kind of have
like,
stuff figured out.
Yeah. My parents, it seemed like they had all the answers. They had it figured out. They just knew what was going on, and I don't feel any of that.
I mean, like I just said, I don't know, 5-10 minutes ago, you'd think I would know things at this point in my life, and I still don't know anything.
From my point of view, I look at you guys like that. Like, they got it figured out. They've done all the hard stuff. Now it's just like smooth sailing.
Well, we appreciate
that's a nice
that.
compliment.
We appreciate that, Ashley. And, I mean, we're probably not the guys. Well, I'm not the guy. Josh is a good guy for life advice and deep things. I do think you're a great source for, advice on money, parenting, grown-up stuff. Right?
I wish my kids felt that way, but that's nice of you to say.
That reminds me. Not that long ago, I ran into an old-timer. Guy I've known my whole life, and I know all of his children too, and I like his children. And I walked up to him in the bar and I said, Donnie, I said, you got some good kids. And he said, oh yeah? How come none of them's got a job? But anyway, Josh is a good guy for those parenty type talks. I'm not that guy, but to go back to what you were saying, Ashley, you're an easy person to give advice to because the problems that you've had in your life are quite simple. The advice that we have to give to you is quite simple, like show up on time, don't work while drunk. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah,
the problems that you've presented to us and maybe looked to us for advice are very simple. Wapple? Little more of a puzzle there.
Oh, boy.
Just a little more of a complicated puzzle there.
Yeah,
but
I don't think
Ashley,
anyone's going to figure that out.
Right, Josh? Ashley, what time should I come to work? And we just say, on time, Do I show up drunk? No. You haven't tested us too bad when it comes to, the idea of the two of us being, what's that word people use? You're my guide.
Authority figure? Plug. I've heard the term plug. Are you trying to be 2024?
No, plug.
Yeah.
I call people a plug. That's a negative thing.
Well, that's what I thought. I was called a plug by one of my kids, and I thought, well, what? That's not a nice thing to say. And then I was told, no, that just means reliable.
Yeah, like my drug dealer.
Yeah, that's what I was told. Yeah, it started with drug dealer, and it's a compliment. But I thought it was an insult, too.
Here again, I'm showing my age. I call people a plug because it's short for butt plug. But anyway.
Exactly. That's how I always
The word I
was
looking for is, and I lost it again. Mentor. If you're ever looking to us to play a mentor role, we're happy to have you, Ashley, because your problems are fairly simple.
I had to have a talk with your godson. Well, I shouldn't say a talk, but I mentioned this to your godson the other day. There's a couple kids in the neighborhood that will make a point to say hi to me when they see me. Or like one of them is almost even excited. Like he'll wave and make sure that we talk for a little bit in the street or whatever. And I had to tell him, like, just once, I wish I could get something like that. Or
out of your own son.
Yeah, just one time. Just a little bit of enthusiasm. The dogs will come greet me at the door or whatever. And I'm like, hey, how's it going? How's your day at school? That's all I get out of that one.
Well, your kid is too familiar. He's ungrateful. He's spoiled. You know what will teach him a lesson?
What's that?
Die.
I don't think he'd care.
Oh, are you? Yes,
I think he'd be excited for the sympathy he might get from chicks at school. I think he'd be pretty pumped about it.
Less dramatic. Just move on.
I got to go get a pack of cigarettes.
I heard. They actually use that joke a lot. Him and his buddies, they'll go after each other and say, your dad went out for the milk, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, one of them went out for the milk.
Oh, no.
So we had to say, hey, don't make that joke.
It can happen.
Like one of them legitimately went out for the milk and didn't come back.
That's a beautiful thing. Your kid, your son, more importantly, my godson, would appreciate you if you left for a week or two. Then he'd be like, well, where's Dad? How come I don't? But yeah, for now, he's too familiar. You've been too easy on him.
Yeah, you're probably right.
Yeah, just ghost him, Josh.
Ghost his ass.
Maybe join like the Big Brother, Little Brother program, where you kind of like have a mentor as a young kid and make him jealous about it.
Yeah, just bring around kids that are a lot better than him at certain things. Like, look at this math whiz I brought home. He turns in his assignments on time all the time.
C. Willie Miles is going to stop by this morning as part of my special birthday broadcast. I bet he ain't bringing anything like what Josh just brought me.
Yeah, I like that he enjoys coming in. I mean, he'll text and say, I got nothing going on tomorrow. Can I come in? It's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, not all of us are crazy about how often he visits, but, No, C. Willie Miles is a wonderful guy. We're looking forward to seeing him later. Was this sold-out line just a scam or what? We've still got tickets to the boat ride. Why are they telling us it's sold out and then every 10 minutes they want us to give away some tickets?
Maybe they just limit the amount of people they are going to be on there, which is much less than what the boat would allow. Maybe it's one of those things.
It's Friday night. And if you text the word lucky to 651-989-9393 on our Luther Bloomington Kia text line. If you text the word lucky, you'll have a chance to win tickets to the sold-out Rock the River Cruise Friday. Paddleford Riverboats, word up. Lucky's 13, word. Gel, word. And by damn, it's going to be something. So go ahead and text in and
I'm going to have to look up Gel's set list.
Well,
Have you done that in a while?
I don't do things like that lately. What was it, 1 or 2 years ago? I know they played Wait by White Lion.
Yeah. And that's not an easy song to play, and they nailed it.
On the guitar.
The drummer was especially good.
Drummer was especially sexy that night. He was. All right, you're a terrific crowd. I appreciate all the folks texting in. Happy birthday messages to me. You're a great crowd. I'm going to see if we can get this drum machine cooking so I can annoy the piss out of everybody for the rest of the morning. We'll be right back on the Half-Assed Morning Show.
The 93X Half-Assed Morning Show.
Did you know that Standard Heating opened its doors over 90 years ago? That's right. Tony Ferreira opened the doors in 1930, now ran by his granddaughter Claire Ferreira. Call Standard Heating and Air Conditioning today and experience the customer service and care that holds true today.
Are you looking to improve your work-life balance with excellent benefits like 401k match and even tuition reimbursement? Standard Heating and Air is looking for an accounting administrator and customer service representatives to join their team. Learn more at standardheating.com/careers today.
Former Navy SEAL Mike Ridlin keeps it real on the Mic Drop podcast. Navy SEAL Mark Green.
What do you think the most critical leadership quality is for a SEAL officer?
Consistency. Even if you're having a bad day, the guys have to know what they're going to expect from you. Once the people that you lead stop coming to you with their problems, then you failed as a leader. To the last day, the guys were coming to me with their problems, which I thought was a victory.
Mic Drop. Raw, unfiltered, intellectually sound. Wherever you listen.
Stupid news on the Half-Assed Morning Show.
We're just starting to get my drum machine warmed up. Josh got me a finger bang drum machine for my 53rd birthday today. Do you guys remember that?
I do.
Yeah. Just getting warmed up.
That is so cool.
Yeah, the kit I have it set on is an old Maple kit, so it sounds like Ringo Starr horsing around back in the 60s. I'm trying to find the Rick Allen, Super 8. Don't worry about it, Josh. See, Josh loves these techie things.
He's nerding out.
He's going to be studying this all morning long to try to figure out. We're just charging her up. Later on, I'll put on a full show. All right, what are you doing? Reading the directions now?
Yeah.
All right.
That's what you want in your man card. Make sure you read all the directions. Company policy, everything. Oh, we should have done an unboxing video.
Oh, that would have been great.
Gosh.
And I'm sure
really nice here.
This is one of those deals where I could probably play a song and drum along to it. You know what I mean? This is crazy.
Yeah, this one, you can make music with this one. Legitimately, people have made music with it.
I know this is a rude question, but this must have cost a lot of money. What's wrong with you?
You're worth it.
You got a kid at home that needs to eat. Okay, the stupid news is hovering over our heads, and I got a hell of a story to start with here. A hell of a story. All right, some of you probably won't believe this, but there are some people out there who I simply will not have sex with.
And that's relatively new. You used to be...
no, I've always been... Well, I've tried over the years to avoid this type of person. I mean, accidents happen. There are people out there who I will not have sex with you. You want to know why? Because some of yous out there take sex way too seriously. You ever hooked up with someone and there was something about them that seemed a little off?
Yep.
Mm-hmm. And then when the next time came around, where the two of yous were loading up for sex, right? And you turned them down because you remember that iffy feeling you had the first time, and then they go mental on you. Oh, yeah. They offer up sex, and you tell them, because you get that funny feeling that you had the first time, where you're like, oh, I don't know, that person was a little squirrely. So they offer up sex, and you tell them, I don't know, I'm not feeling too good, I'm a little tired, and they get a look in their eye where it appears that they're thinking, I'm going to cut your head off, and I'm going to burn your house down. It's a terrifying experience. Some of you can relate to that?
Oh, I'd imagine being turned down would be, hurtful. Dana, speak onto the topic. What is it like to be turned down for sex? The rest of us aren't sure. We've never been in that situation.
I mean, they're out there. Plenty of you know what I'm talking about. And obviously, that kind of reaction of a death stare because you turn someone down for sex isn't 100% sexually motivated. These people are uncorked maniacs even when sex isn't an option. But there's something about those folks. You have no idea what you're getting yourself into until it's far too late, Cubby.
They might be great lovers, though, when they're that crazy.
See, that's the thing.
And I think that's what lures people in at times. Rat rules, Jesus said, they're called potholes. You see them, you swerve to try and avoid them, but you still end up hitting them.
That's beautiful. That's exactly right. There's something about that type of person. Once the two of you have sex, to them, you belong to them. And until you're able to break free, you become a target of either the best sex you've ever had or a violent attack. Here's an example of that type of character. And another lucky set of jurors got to hear this story in court. I've mentioned quite a few times the torture of jury. How do you say it? Jury duty. The torture that jury duty is. I never want to experience that again for the rest of my life. But if you're going to end up selected for a jury, God, how wonderful to have this kind of a case put in front of you as opposed to some boring this or that. A lucky set of jurors got to hear this story in court. A crazy lady poured bleach on a player and tried to carve his penis off of his body after he told her that he didn't want a bump.
That poor pianist. Penis. Oh, my God.
That's all it took. She said, "You want to throw me in the tall grass?" He said, "Nah, I'm watching the ball game." And the crazy switch was flipped. The gal, she's a 38-year-old lunatic by the name of Marlena. Oh, God, no. She waited until her boyfriend had fallen asleep. That's what they do.
That's when I developed the courage to attack,
Mm-hmm.
is when someone is asleep or incapacitated in some way.
They're just passed out, Josh chumps.
Or held down by 3-4 other people.
Oh, yeah.
They're finally asleep. Get the bleach.
She waited until their boyfriend had fallen into deep sleep. It reminds me of that old Eddie Murphy bit. Boy, which comedy record was it? Delirious, maybe? 1983. You older folks remember the comedy record by Eddie Murphy called Delirious, where he talks about a fight he got in with his girlfriend, and he slapped her in the face. And instantly he regretted it. And he said, "Oh, my God, I'm so sorry. I don't know what came over me. I'm sorry. I should never do that to you. Please forgive me." And his girlfriend said, No. I had that coming. No, there's no need to apologize. Now, why don't you just go to sleep? So anyway.
Back to your comment on jury duty, Mrs. Jeweler, she just said, "My first day going in for jury duty this morning. Thanks, Nick."
Oh.
She appreciates that.
You're going to hate it. Every single second of it. So, Marlena, the crazy maniac, waited till her boyfriend fell smooth asleep, and then she poured bleach on his face. Dude wakes up. He's scrambling around the room trying to figure out what the hell just hit him. And that's when Marlena stabbed him. It says here she narrowly missed his tallywhacker. That's what she was going for. She even admitted to the cops, I think, afterwards. I think she asked the cops, "Did I stab him in the pecker? Where did I get him?" Mm-hmm. This is because the man who had thrown her into the weeds many, many times, they were boyfriend, girlfriend. He said no to sex. You got to be careful. Man, this is horrifying. So, she missed his Johnson, but still, she stabbed the guy.
Why didn't she just go for the Johnson first? Sounds like
she did. She missed.
No, she poured the bleach on him first, so then he wakes up. You know, if you were just going to go for the tallywhacker, just go for it.
Well, I guess she wanted to do more damage than just... She wanted to do more damage than just the weenus. Wobble.
Yeah.
You would have went penis first.
I definitely would have went penis first.
Yeah,
right.
he's a penis first kind of guy.
Yep.
That's the first mistake she made. She.
I mean, give her a break. This is probably the first time she's ever done it.
Yeah.
Amateur.
I don't know where you're going with all that, but just so you know, Wapple thinks that she shouldn't have multitasked in her attack on her boyfriend.
Yep.
She stabbed the player. She stabbed the pimp. She said in court, here it is, "I wanted to harm his penis, but because he moved, I got his thigh instead." Now, she's going off to prison for 7 years. I'll get that out of the way, just to dummy down any of the anxiety in her listening audience. She's going off to prison. She's not in town this weekend or anything looking for a new boyfriend. She's in. They had an on and off again relationship, these two, since 2011.
Oh, wow.
And I'm going to go ahead and guess this was far from the only time this poor guy got the living hell scared out of him by this effing maniac. Now, let's hear from the poor bastard. Here's how he summed up the experience. This is going to scare the ass off of a few of you because you know you're currently stuck in a relationship with one of these types of people. "I went to sleep," he says. "My next recollection was some liquid being poured over the left side of my face. When I inhaled, I realized it was bleach. It went into my nose and into my ear. I sat straight up, and that's when she threw the remainder of the bleach into my face.
It's lucky she didn't take the tallywhacker on first, and then the bleach goes down there. It's going to hurt.
Oh,
that's going to be stingy.
And Wapple, you are being backed on our text line saying, yeah, you got to go penis first. I wish I was that good at sex where someone would want to cut my penis off if I turned them down. Do you guys think I'm decent at sex?
I've seen you in action. You're pretty good.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah.
No.
No?
Only because, remember a few weeks ago when you showed us how you thrust with your pelvis?
I thought it was adorable.
Well, that's what I'm going for.
Well, we're not going.
That's what you're shooting for.
I know you have limited experience with the ladies, Wapple, but you're not going for adorable.
Oh, that's so cute.
Oh, look at that. He's trying his best. Look at that.
That was almost sex. Way to go.
You're getting there. You're getting there, bud.
Here's a gold star for the day.
Just give your head a tussle.
All right, back to this unlucky bastard who was attacked with bleach, and his girlfriend tried to stab him in the dink. He said, I tried to turn on my phone light to find my clothes. I managed to get my socks on, and that's when I was stabbed in the groin. I was blinded by the bleach. I felt warm liquid running down my leg. My initial thoughts were I'd wet myself out of fear. And that's when I looked down and saw that it was blood. And then I looked at her, and I could see she had a face absolutely full of rage, and she was holding a knife. She started coming towards me with the knife. Now, he was able to escape certain death. The local cops found the poor guy lying naked and covered in blood in the hallway of their apartment building. Marlena, the psychomaniac girlfriend, claimed, well, I was high and drunk. And then she claimed she'd been the victim of sexual abuse and had acted in self-defense. There was zero evidence of that. And you heard Ashley's reaction right there, because, you know, women love other women who make up these phony abuse charges, don't they?
Yeah, they're the best.
That really helps gals who might actually face something like that someday, doesn't it? It's very helpful.
It's very, very helpful.
Yes,
Gosh.
when you make up these stories.
Just gross.
It is gross. Now, the cold-blooded judge upped and told mental Marlena in court, I think you're a liar who hides behind the story of abuse as an excuse to lash out at people mentally and physically. So long, sucker. 7 years in the Stony Lonesome. You don't belong anymore, Marlena.
I bet he never forgets that face.
Oh.
He's talking about the rage-filled face.
He'll see it every time he closes his eyes at night.
And he'll also see it when he picks her up from jail in 7 years to go right back to it.
No!
Oh, yeah. They've had enough. Yep.
I've been waiting for you, baby.
Yeah, you know, I've had a lot of time to think.
He
little
better
bleach
not.
isn't that bad.
He friggin' better not go pick her up from the cooler in 7 years, or I will be judgmental.
If you would have taken my penis, I don't think I'd be here, but you missed.
How did she screw it up, Wapple?
She did not go penis first.
Oh, God. It's a terrible story. And again, look out, everybody. They're out there. Some of you are laying next to someone like that right now, and you know it. But you don't have the balls to get out of there. Get out of there.
Pretty soon you might not have balls at all, we've learned this morning. Protect the penis.
Shh, don't wake him up. Don't wake him up. All right. I'm not a coffee drinker. I know it's a very different game than it was even 35, 40 years ago. Coffee has drawn in a different crowd since the days of your grandpa loading up his thermos with piping black, hot coffee before work and maybe dumping a little Bailey's Irish cream in there to keep him warm.
It's pumpkin spice season already at the
here we
coffee
go.
places.
You know what? It starts early and earlier.
Josh,
Yeah, I know.
Josh, I told you. Here we go. One thing hasn't changed. Hot coffee is the sworn enemy of soft, sensitive human genitalia.
Yeah, it seems like it's wiped out quite a few vaginas over the years, especially.
I've never done that. Thank God.
And you're a coffee lady, correct?
Yes, I mostly get iced coffee though, so maybe I'm safe from spilling coffee on my genitalia then.
Yeah, just get really cold.
There's I was reading a study recently. 1 in 5 Americans say fresh coffee is better than making love. Do you think it's that good?
I've known people that think that way, that just cannot even process anything in life before they have their coffee.
Making
those types.
love.
Yes.
They were making love.
They were.
I don't think I've ever had coffee that's come close to that.
He was my son, and he was drowning in the lake while the camp counselors were making love.
Making love.
What movie? Friday the 13th. What year? 1980, I believe.
His name was Jason.
And he was my son.
I rewatched that movie
terrible.
not too long ago and wondered, why was I scared of this as a kid?
It's absolutely stupid.
I was terrified as a young man.
I was too.
Soft, flaccid, wrinkled human genitalia is terrified of hot coffee and has sworn against it as their arch enemy. For example, a vagina and blistering hot coffee met on an airplane ride here recently. Hot coffee and a lady's front butt tangled. This was a few months ago on one of those airplane rides. The gal has gone ahead and sued a company called American Airlines over burns she got on her gear when some hot coffee got spilled on her. The lady, when she was able to speak in court, has said that her 68-year-old cooch was badly burned when a scalding pot of coffee fell off a serving cart and into her Lappington during turbulence.
Oh, I thought maybe she ordered the coffee because that's dangerous. I did that the last time I was on a plane and there was some turbulence and I thought this was a mistake.
Like it's going to, the flight attendant would spill it, or what do you mean?
No, just because like if you put it on the little tray table in front of you or even in your hand, it's just shaking around. I ended up just chugging it, burning my mouth because I was like, this is going to spill everywhere.
Do they at least give you a lid?
No.
Oh, really?
Yeah, not the flight I was on.
Yeah, that's a dangerous game you're playing there, Ashley.
Did I mention that this vagina versus hot coffee deal is has also gone to court? I don't remember if I mentioned that.
Yeah.
But,
Yep.
Okay. And another, what a stroke of luck to be a juror. And, what's the case you're working on? Hot coffee versus a beeve. You'd be like, cool. I don't know. I think it was cool.
I imagine you have to see the pictures of the burns too.
Oh, God.
Yeah, that's what I want to see.
I don't think they're going to show us pictures.
I don't know. I don't know how serious this
Oh,
is.
my God.
You might be onto something. I don't know. Or maybe is that something where you can just take the doctor's word for it?
Yeah.
I didn't even think about pictures being passed around the juror's room or whatever. And then someone says lunch, and you say, yeah, no thanks.
Yeah, that's a burn cooter, all right. Seen it a million times.
I'm going to pass on the beef sandwich today.
Interesting, I think. The lady who got burned down there, interesting that her name is Gina, or maybe it's Gina. She was flying home from Baltimore to Detroit back in February. A captain came over the PA system, and by damn, he dumped a warning on everybody. He said to sit your fat asses down because some turbulence is on the way. The flight attendants were in the middle of handing out beverages and such. You know how they do when the turbulence hit. One of them parked their cart next to Gina, and that's when the turbulence really kicked in. The coffee pot fell smooth off the cart and landed on Gina's Gina. She says she turned up with first and second degree burns on her legs, thighs, and unit. It's a damn good thing she wasn't, scratching herself down there. She might have lost an arm. This isn't a first by any stretch. Hot coffee and panty hamsters have met before on airplanes. A few years ago, a gal had some hot coffee dumped on her lap on an airplane, and when she finally got a peek down the front of her drawers, she said the coffee caused a, quote, permanent cosmetic deformity.
Ooh.
Ah!
That sucks.
We just not too long ago talked about the, was it the Korean airline where they were going to stop with the ramen?
Yeah.
Because it was burning
Oh,
folks.
Yeah.
That's not a good meal for a plane.
How was that an idea in the first place?
They made a vow over there at Korean Airlines to stop serving their hot soup. Because
Can you
it was
imagine just like a hot coffee and ramen? That's what you choose on the plane.
the hot soup was burning down too many peckers and fur burgers.
I'm just picturing like sitting next to somebody that orders the ramen. You're like, God dang it. This is going to get all over me.
Gina's probably going to make a lot of monies from this here lawsuit, but she's gone through some pain to get it. By damn, she has.
Well, I mean, probably the most famous was that the 1994 case of she was what, 80 or just under 80, the woman who sued McDonald's because the coffee burned her genitalia.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Goes through the drive-through. I believe the story was that she goes through the drive-through, puts it in her lap, and it changed the temperature of McDonald's coffee after that.
Yep.
They lowered it.
Hilarious.
To stop burning privates.
And you had to put the little stamp on the cup saying, "This is hot."
Yeah, I remember at first thinking, she didn't realize that coffee was going to be hot? Like, no clue?
Now she's a millionaire.
But I don't have a destroyed vagina from the incident, so I'll just keep that to myself.
I think I got time for one more here. Sucks to have spastic bowel syndrome.
Ooh.
Especially when someone sees you taking a deuce out in the open in a campground. This here next story is about a dude who couldn't hold his mud at a campground up in Canada, and it's caused a big argument. Long story, lots of different characters in play. Canadians do not know how to write a news story. This was brutal, just for the record. I know you don't care, but editing this story, I almost lost my friggin' mind because the friggin' Canadians are stupid. I'll just get to the good stuff. I'll cut to the chase the best I can. Dude is staying at a campground with some pals. He has a condition called spastic bowel syndrome. Text us if you've got that. 651-989-9393. Text us if you have spastic bowel syndrome. What's that like? I mean, I can imagine. Of all people, I'm sure I can imagine what spastic bowel syndrome is like. But I'm curious. How did you catch it? What's it like? Anyway, dude at the campground woke up one morning and he couldn't make her to the head because of that spastic bowel. He ended up unleashing the fury up against somebody's camper, and he got chewed out by campground security. The dude who laid out the spastic coiler was terribly embarrassed. He and his pals got kicked out of the campground because the dude... Well, he dropped turd logs on the ground in the broad daylight at the campground. But he and his friends say the campground security folks were insensitive to the guy's spastic ass, and they want an apology. You got all that?
Yeah, so because he has a medical issue, he had to poop in the campground, and now they're mad at the facilities.
Mm-hmm.
That makes a lot of sense.
I think the lesson here is you got to go penis first.
Always. It's like my buddy Wapple always says.
Now, this is funny. When campground security rounds the corner one morning, they're riding in their campground security pickup truck. You can picture that, right? They round the corner, and here's a grown man in the prone position, out in the open, squeezing cheese. One of the security dudes hollered from his pickup. He hollered, "Hey, did you just in the park?" Oh, I thought that would go somewhere. I guess not.
Oh, well, it sounded like there was more coming.
Yeah, I was waiting for more.
Did you just in the park? He said, I'm calling the cops. And then he drove smooth out of there. The campground threw them all out. The cops showed up and told them to get out, too. Didn't give them a chance to explain. There was a shouting match between the campground folks and the poop guy people. I think some folks got arrested. That's embarrassing.
Yeah, that's pretty embarrassing.
The dude with the bowel issue, I feel for that player.
Yeah, like he couldn't clean it up, have a second chance or something.
Yeah, they didn't give him a chance to do any of that.
That's
Wapple.
weird.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
true. If he cleaned it up and then he was very apologetic, obviously didn't do it on purpose.
But then again, we just talked last week, I think it was, about also in Canada, a lady who's being charged with assault after accidentally squirting her neighbor with a water gun during a neighborhood water gun fight.
Yep, forgot about that one.
Yeah, but then there also was that porch pooper from last week, and the guy who was getting pooped on, he really didn't seem to mind.
Well, I think he minded, but yeah, you're right. He didn't seem like he was going to press criminal charges. So I looked it up, Nick. There's 48 drum kits on there. And you can even make your own.
I'm going to make my own baby with you.
Have you figured out what's what yet?
No, I have no idea what I'm stabbing at all.
Because we need some rim shots maybe at some point.
Yeah.
There you go.
We got a brand new toy here in the building. Josh brought me a finger bang drum machine.
Sports on the 93X Half-Assed Morning Show.
Cousins looks right, has a man, touchdown, Drake London. The Atlanta Falcons are going to leave Philadelphia with a 1-point win.
All right, so what happened last night? That was Captain Deathrock?
Yeah, he led a game-winning drive, as he does on Monday Night Football. He's known for his prowess on Monday Night Football.
Prime time. They call him Mr. Prime Time.
What a douche. So it was a dramatic victory for Captain Deathrock.
Didn't look good. I mean, people were leaving the stadium, Eagles fans, going, well, we got this one in the bag. And then they came back and won that.
I promised you guys I wasn't going to watch it last night, so I didn't. You guys will get a kick out of this. We'll give you a quick little sports this and that here in a minute. Again, back to Josh presented me with a wonderful gift here on my 53rd birthday. And thank you again for all the birthday wishes from the brother and sisterhood. It's been wonderful. Josh gave me this really cool finger bang drum machine. It's what do you call this, Josh? Like
it's just a bunch of pads
bunch
on
of
there.
pads on a board, and I can use my my rapid finger drumming and do all kinds of cool things. You young people like to drop Molly, right, and go to what do you call it? Dub shows or whatever.
Dubstep.
Yeah.
All right, you ready for this now?
Yeah.
Because you guys are going to trip out. You guys got any Molly?
Yeah, let's go. Here you go, Apple.
Are you freaked out?
I'm so
You're the
high
next
right now.
Skrillex,
I can
dude.
feel colors.
And a 1 and a 2 and a. Come on.
Great word.
1.
Dude, you got to end it up by saying 1.
You got to put that in there.
All right. Tough loss for the Twins last night in Cleveland. Dick Bramer better have some answers. Tough loss in Cleveland. They had to lead. And some dude by the name of Kyle Manzardo. Never heard of the guy. What a dumb name for the Guardians. Isn't that a stupid name?
I don't like that
Pretty
name.
dumb name.
Kyle
I don't like what he did.
No, I don't like what he did. He hit a 2-run home run and beat the Twins. And you know what made it worse? He has one of those, just like in Top Gun mustaches. And I've had it with that bit.
High fly ball, deep right field. Wallner's back. He's out of room. It's out of here.
Oh, God.
Kyle Manzardo with a game-changing blast.
Did you see his
Has
face?
Put the
Yeah.
Guardians in front 4-3.
He's got one of those. Did you guys see Top Gun? Did you see the guy with the he's got one of those mustaches.
Yeah, he's even got a stupid face, too.
1. Yeah, Wapple called him Kyle Man's Bud-O earlier, and I thought, wow, that's quite a rip right there.
Yep.
Yeah,
That's a good
you
one.
burned him.
Yeah, he's never coming back from that.
No.
That is a dumb mustache he has.
Yep.
Josh's news is coming up next.
Right now on the Luther Bloomington Kia text line, text COMIC, COMIC, Comic to 651-989-9393 for a chance to win tickets to Extreme. This will be taking place Sunday, September 22nd at Mystic Showroom. Prize provided by Mystic Lake Casino. This keyword is good today, September 17th until midnight. Good luck.
The 93X Half-Assed Morning Show.
Did you know that Standard Heating opened its doors over 90 years ago? That's right. Tony Ferreira opened the doors in 1930. Now ran by his granddaughter, Claire Ferreira. Call Standard Heating and Air Conditioning today and experience the customer service and care that holds true today.
Are you looking to improve your work-life balance with excellent benefits like 401k match and even tuition reimbursement? Standard Heating and Air is looking for an accounting administrator and customer service representatives to join their team. Learn more at standardheating.com/careers today.
Welcome to Talkville, the ultimate Smallville rewatch podcast, season 5, episode 4. This is Aqua.
The new episode opens with summer shenanigans at Crater Lake. What could go wrong?
Tom, was the lake super cold?
Yeah, that's a mountain lake when we do these underwater scenes and everything's crystal clear and everyone sees everything crystal clear. If any of you ever go underwater and open your eyes, nothing is crystal clear.
Nothing.
We have that slow motion underwater fight sequence. We can't see anything.
Good Lord.
Binge seasons 1 through 4 of Talkville before season 5 begins, wherever you listen.
Half-Assed Morning Show. 93X.
We're going to publicly shame them and their parents. So parents, do your job. Don't let Sheriff Chitwood raise your kids.
A Florida sheriff by the name of Mike Chitwood said his agency spent about $21,000 in the past few days investigating fake school threats posted on social media, and he is pissed.
Yeah, who's he hollering at?
This is totally out of control, and it stops now, Sheriff Chitwood said at a press conference Friday. In less than 24 hours, 54 threats were reported through Fortify Florida, an app where people can send tips about suspicious activity to law enforcement. 2 students, a 13-year-old and a 14-year-old, were arrested after posting threats on TikTok and Instagram about a school shooting. They're looking into a possible third suspect in that case, and he said he's fed up. They also arrested and perp-walked an 11-year-old.
Parents, you don't want to raise your kids? I'm going to start raising them. Every time we make an arrest, your kid's photo is going to be put out there. And if I could do it, I'm going to perp-walk your kid so that everybody can see what your kid's up to. The second point of this is, if I can any way find out that a parent knew what was going on and wasn't doing anything, your is getting perp-walked with him.
Several schools in Florida have seen a rise in threats. Multiple students have already been arrested and charged.
54 and counting tips came into Fortify Florida last night. So far, it's cost $21,000 to do these investigations. We have 2 in custody. So far this year, there have been 207 threats who have come in. We've arrested 7 people for written threats to kill. We've had 11 weapons on our campuses this year.
This comes less than 2 weeks after a 14-year-old shot and killed 4 people at a high school near Atlanta, injuring several others, which added to the sheriff's frustration. Chitwood said, go talk to the families who've lost someone in a school shooting. These little knuckleheads think it's funny. Go talk to those parents and see if they're laughing. It's not a joke.
Man, this guy's running hot. He's threatening to perp walk every swinging D in town.
I like it. I like his vibe.
He's had enough.
Absolutely. I don't know what the problem is. Why does everyone act this way?
Officers with the New Brighton Police Department detained a 15-year-old after a possible threat of school violence.
Oh, here we go again.
The department thanked members of the Irondale High School community on quickly bringing to their attention a possible threat of violence posted on social media. The case follows a 12-year-old who St. Paul police admitted last week to making a social media threat against schools, which was widely circulated. The post named 22 schools in St. Paul, Maplewood, Roseville, and Little Canada, leading to 2 charter schools in St. Paul closing last Thursday.
Just again and again and again and again, isn't it, Cubby?
Yeah, I can't quite figure it out, especially when people realize the stakes and how terrible it is when this happens. An adventurous 8-year-old swiped the family's SUV from her Ohio home and took it for a joyride, cruising miles down the road to a store where she was eventually found safe and sound drinking a Frappuccino.
See, this is more like it as far as kids acting like morons.
I agree.
This is what I'm used to. This is much more comforting.
A little more adorable, yet scary at the same time. The little driver and the family's 2020 Nissan Rogue were reported missing about 9 a.m. Sunday. Her family last saw her at home about 2 hours earlier, probably never imagining she'd go off on a solo Target run. As police jumped into action, they got word the child had been spotted behind the wheel on a nearby road.
The driver appeared to be small in stature, and she should be in that vehicle driving.
But my God.
By the time they got there, the vehicle disappeared. Didn't take long, though. They found the SUV parked at a Target store about 13 miles from home. Inside the store, they found the girl hanging out solo. She was found at a Starbucks inside the Target where she'd ordered a Frappuccino. She also had more than $400 in cash, making her the richest 8-year-old in all of Ohio. She spent some of that at Target, who the cops said refund the girl for her purchases. When asked about her joyride there, she admitted bumping into a mailbox during the drive, but didn't have much more to say. As of yesterday, that investigation is ongoing.
She must be a pretty good driver.
Yeah, it's all very impressive.
It's definitely impressive. She made it there and just decided she was going to... I don't know. Do a lot of 8-year-olds drink coffee? I don't know any.
I don't know. Now I wouldn't be able to say. I want to see her park job. I wish there was footage of her park.
I thought the same thing. And people were bringing it up like, hey, it's tough enough to park in one of those parking lots anyways.
Uh-huh.
And she did it at 8 years old.
Where did she get $400?
Change jar or something. I don't know.
Why did she have to return everything?
Well, she wasn't authorized to make the purchases. Mom and Dad weren't behind that one.
That sucks for her.
A 62-year-old man's facing DUI charges after deputies in Florida caught him behind the controls of his vehicle while under the influence. He was under the influence of alcohol and behind the controls of an excavator.
Oh.
Deputies were called to a scrapyard after reports of a verbal argument and threats from a guy driving some heavy machinery.
Do me a favor, turn around.
Can I go shut
Turn
the
around.
machine off?
Nope. You're going to stay right here. So you were in direct immediate control of the vehicle when we pulled up here. You looked like you were falling asleep. You're being placed under arrest for DUI today.
In a social media post, police said deputies saw 62-year-old John Kastner operating an excavator while drunk. If you're drunk, you shouldn't be behind the wheel or levers, part of the post read. He was arrested for DUI. Then last Tuesday night, another Floridian was busted for DUI. This time, the suspect wasn't just normal drink and drive drunk. He was drink and drive without realizing you crashed into a fire hydrant and it's still stuck under your vehicle drunk. Police said he tried to keep driving with it underneath his vehicle until they were able to bring him to a stop. And a 50-year-old New Jersey woman's margarita night at Chili's took an unfortunate turn when she ended up charged with drunk driving after a crash. Kathleen Ackerley seemed to have no memory of what had happened, police said. And when she tried to stand, she couldn't. An officer, sensing things weren't adding up, asked if she'd been drinking, and she said, maybe I drank too much. Breath test appeared not to help her case, showing a blood alcohol content of 0.21 and 0.22. She said she'd only knocked back 2 margaritas at Chili's before things went downhill.
You don't want to go drink for a drink with a gal named Kathleen. It's a very Irish name.
True.
Yeah, I'd imagine it was a couple more than 2 margaritas, but who knows? Even if irony isn't your strong suit, this one's so obvious it might just hit you right in the nuts. Or if you're a lady, your balls. 56-year-old Dame Diana Johnson had her purse snatched at a conference in the UK recently. And what makes the story ironic is Johnson is the Minister of State for Policing, Fire, and Crime Prevention. And even more ironic, her purse was stolen at a police conference. And ironically again, she was talking about England's epidemic of theft and shoplifting. Oh, no. The incident comes as police data shows shoplifting in England is at a 20-year high, with theft rising significantly over the past year. A 56-year-old was arrested for burglary in connection with the incident and released on bail.
That sounds like almost a setup, like a prank.
Yeah, they just made a point. She's not only like the head cop, she's at a police conference, and she's speaking on exactly what happened.
Mm-hmm.
Police said they're investigating. When a 16-year-old St. Paul girl woke up in the early morning hours of September 1st, she saw a man in her bedroom closet. She screamed, the man got spooked, apologized, and ran, police said.
Who the hell was that guy?
Stranger danger. The girl's father heard her screams, went to her bedroom where she told them what she saw. Her parents went downstairs and encountered the man wearing the girl's clothes. Oh, good. Oh. The father asked what the 24-year-old intruder was doing, and he replied, God called me to come here.
Here we go.
Surveillance footage showed the man entering the home through the front door naked. He grabbed a towel from the front porch, wrapped it around his waist before walking through the house and put on the girl's clothes. and then he stole $50 from a jar.
Oh, man. It's her allowance money.
After he left, the father noticed the man also made some food and turned on the TV. A St. Paul police investigator later determined that the incident ended a half mile away, where the man was captured on video surveillance walking naked in another yard just an hour before the burglary. Thankfully, he was arrested about a mile from the home after getting inside someone's car and refusing to get out.
Some real cutie pies out there, Josh.
Yeah, there's a couple. That's good to know that they're right here in our neighborhood. A female sextortionist solicited a Minnesota teen for nudes, then shook him down for cash. And police say she may have pulled the same scam on others. Making the allegations even more absurd and wrinkly, she's 70. Stephanie Godby of Tennessee allegedly made contact with the 17-year-old in Anoka, or Anoka County specifically, convinced him to send nude photos of himself, and then threatened to forward the X-rated pics to friends and family if he didn't fork over payments totaling more than $2,000 to her Venmo account.
That's one twisted grandma right there.
Yeah. Local law enforcement who were tipped off about the scam in 2022 said the elderly suspect may have had other prey too, as her Venmo account received similar payments from people around the country, including another possible victim in Maple Grove. Records show a message reading, "Leave my husband alone for good. This is all you're getting from me," which accompanied one such transaction. The Minnesota victim, who's now 19, initially sent a payment of about $1,700 to Godby's Venmo account in exchange for keeping the photos to herself, but the demands for cash kept coming. He ended up sending over $2,000 by the time sheriffs began their investigation. Authorities linked her birth date, social security number, phone number, and address to the offending Venmo account, but they have yet to find her.
Dang. So this kid was trading naked pictures with a 70-year-old lady?
Yeah.
Ugh.
Somehow.
And she's a real-life how did you say it?
Sextortionist.
Sextortionist. Oh.
That's just the term they're using.
I got confused. I was thinking that was a cross between, sex goddess and contortionist.
Oh.
Well, that probably would be a good combo, wouldn't it?
Yeah, that's where I was going with that, but
no,
it's a
she's
negative
extorting
term.
people
Yes.
for money via sexy photos.
Oh, man.
An 1870 bed and breakfast in Minnesota is the backdrop of a new Gothic horror movie available to stream today. Voice of Shadows, written and directed by 37-year-old St. Paul native Nicholas Bain, will be available on Prime Video, Google Play, iTunes, Apple TV, and elsewhere. The 90-minute movie, I guess specifically, filmed at the James A. Thompson B&B in Lanesboro, follows Gabriel, a devout Catholic, as he travels with his girlfriend Emma to the country estate, that is, where she stands to inherit. There, they learned Emma must follow an increasingly strange set of rules during their weekend stay for that inheritance to take place. Voice of Shadows is what that's called.
Get the hell out of here.
Of course, Minnesota has seen several popular movies shot in the state. The 1996 classic Fargo, despite its title, filmed many of its key scenes in Minnesota. 1984's Purple Rain, starring Prince, immortalized the nightclub First Avenue in music and film history. Another popular film, Grumpy Old Men, was shot in Wabasha. The sequel, Grumpier Old Men, also shot in Minnesota. A few more, The Mighty Ducks 1, 2, and 3, Jingle All the Way, North Country, Mallrats, Joe Somebody, starring Nick's favorite actor, Tim Allen. Little Big League, Hey, Stop Stabbing Me, from 2003, and more.
Where did they film Hey, Stop Stabbing Me?
I didn't see exactly what city, but there's a horror comedy called Hey, Stop Stabbing Me.
I wonder if that was created by the same people who made one of my favorite porn titles. Josh remembers this one. There was a porno movie a few years ago called Dad, Will You Please Stop Effing My Sorority Sisters? He didn't.
Really?
No, I bet not.
I mean, Hey, Stop Stabbing Me would work for a porn title, too, I guess.
I suppose. More than anything, Josh, I think when his daughter said that to him, it only caused him to pick up the pace.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. She's not the boss of him.
No.
And what he does to her sorority sister.
Stop dangling all your sorority sisters in front of me, he said. It's a good movie.
Is it?
Yeah.
It's a good one for the family around the holidays.
Dad, she said.
She sounds annoyed.
She was really annoyed by it, yeah, because she's trying to fit in with these girls. She's a college gal, you know. You guys have been there.
The series premiere of High Potential premieres tonight on ABC, where a single mom with an exceptional mind is hired as a police consultant after proving she can spot key details detectives miss. Based on the acclaimed book of the same name, the premiere of the limited series Nothing But a Good Time, the uncensored story of 80s hair metal is now streaming on Paramount+. From the director of The Dirt, the three-part series showcases the notoriously wild 80s hard rock era, featuring interviews with those who lived it. Bret Michaels, Stephen Pearcy, Nuno Bettencourt, Dave Snake Sabo, Ricky Rackman, along with Corey Taylor and Steve-O, and many others are a part of that. Again, it's a three-part series, Nothing But a Good Time, the uncensored story of 80s hair metal on Paramount+.
Well, that sounds like fun, but who the hell invited Steve-O to be part of it?
It's like one of those things is not like the others.
What's he going to do, put a drumstick in his butt or something and then jump off a tour bus into a pool full of feces?
I lost all respect for him when he decided he's not going to go through with it and get breast implants. He backed out.
Oh, he backed out on that?
Now I can no longer respect the guy. He has lost my respect. Patrick Mahomes is 29 today. He's pretty good at football. A decade older and likely still intoxicated from what he became a Stanley Cup champion in 2018, Alexander Ovechkin is 39. Pretty good at hockey, I've been told.
Yeah, I didn't know he and I shared the same. Who was the first guy?
Patrick Mahomes.
Oh, no, really?
Yeah.
I got to share a birthday with that douche?
No. He's lucky enough to share one with you.
That's a cubby way of looking at it, yeah.
Happy birthday to Mille Lacs Lake Rubber Ducky Jesus. You share one with him. Happy 26th to Double Dumper Jesus. There's another one for you. Backdoor Slammin' Walleye Jesus texted a happy birthday shout out to his beautiful fiance, yet another. Happy 12th to Waconia Volleyball Jesus from Retractable Roof Jesus. There's one there. And, of course, as we've been talking about this morning, happy birthday and Merry Radio Christmas to the best friend a guy could have.
Oh.
The greatest godfather my kid could have.
Oh.
And the greatest lover you'd be lucky to have, Radio Jesus Nick Bourne. And then happy birthday to Nick's twin brother, Steve, who I greatly enjoy and who Nick once legitimately tried to murder. That's 93X News.
All-time great broadcaster and Minnesota Twins ambassador, Dick Bramer.
That's a heck of a call right there. Oh, my goodness gracious. There it goes!
On the Half-Ass Morning Show.
High fly ball, deep right field. Wallner's back. He's out of room. It's out of here. Kyle Manzardo with a game-changing blast has put the Guardians in front 4-3.
That was aggravating. Hello, Randy Shaver.
Hello.
Randy Shaver. And in studio, C. Willie Miles. You got to turn on.
Good morning,
Randy Shaver.
Good morning.
C. Willie Miles is even here, too, for my special birthday broadcast.
I just came in here just to wish you a happy birthday, man.
What a guy.
Thanks for coming in, C. Willie
It's a
Miles.
big birthday, turning 65 today.
It is. It hurts a little bit. Seems like just yesterday I was 63, 64. And also, it's Tuesday. We missed our chance last week, so we're doubly excited for our next guest. You know, when things tighten up like this for our baseball club, 12 games to go, trying like hell to make the playoffs. When times are stressful, we rely on a guy who has seen it all. We seek comfort in your wisdom this morning, Dick Bramer.
Well, good morning to everybody. Where am I supposed to turn for comfort these days?
We're here for you.
It's not about you. It's not about you.
The bottle, Dick Bramer.
It's not my mother-in-law right now.
Oh, yeah, but she's not happy.
Oh, my God.
I didn't think about that, Dick Bramer. I don't know who you're supposed to rely on, but we're looking to you during some tough times here. What do you got on your mind, sir?
Well, it was a tough one again last night, and what really makes it tough when you've got three rookies in your starting rotation and you're trying to, get into the postseason, you really need to win the game started by the other guys. And in the last couple of Bailey Ober starts and the one last night, Pablo Lopez was really good last night. Yeah. Somehow you got to win those games, and they didn't. And now it's Zebby Matthews going tonight, and you're down to just Twins have a dozen games left. Detroit has 11 games left. The difference right now is actually 3 losses. The Twins are ahead of the Tigers by 2 games, in the loss column for the last wild card spot.
Right.
But the Twins have the tiebreaker, which means if they had identical records by the end of the year, the Twins would get the final playoff spot because they won the season series against Detroit. So the number to watch now is 3, and unless the Twins lose 3 more games than Detroit does, the rest of the way things are still looking pretty good.
Oh, man, I'm trying to stay positive. I am.
It's getting tough.
But you made a great point. When Pablo's out there, he's your guy. You got to find a way to win those games because now you got rookies being put into spots that they've never been in before when the pressure is on that they've never felt before. And last night, they had some opportunities to widen the gap with Cleveland in that ball game. Didn't drive folks around. Runs were left on the field. The bullpen, what can you do? I mean, did Pablo look upset last night when he was removed from the game, or was I seeing things?
I didn't sense that.
Okay.
But I think I know Pablo well enough to know that, he's pretty critical of his own performance.
Okay.
Sailing along for 6 innings, but then you walk the leadoff guy in the 7th, and nothing good is going to happen when you do that at the time, I think it was a 2-run lead for the Twins, 3-1.
Right.
But you can't go out there and walk the leadoff guy, and he did. So I'm guessing after the game, if he felt bad coming out of the game, it was because he walked the leadoff guy.
Yeah, I probably misinterpreted. I thought maybe he was upset with Rocco, but you're most likely right. He was upset with himself. I forgot about that leadoff walk.
Let me throw a number at you from last year. The Twins rotation last year, which was Ober and Maeda and Ryan and Lopez and Gray, made 139 starts collectively as a group. That's 86% of all the games last year was started by just those 5 guys. That's how consistent they were last year.
Mm-hmm.
This year, only 66% of their starts by the 5 guys who were
slated to be there, yeah.
Yep, in the rotation to start the year. And 66%, 105 starts, which means that 45 other starts have come from other players, and mostly Simeon Richardson and Festa, and Zebby now with 6. But the point is that consistency that the Twins relied on so much last year because of their pitching, obviously the Twins would be dying if they could just have that consistency in the last 12 games here, trying to make it as a wild card team.
And the problem is, when you've got the Festas and Matthews and now even Simeon Woods Richardson, a lot of those guys are being taken out now in the 4th or 5th inning.
Right.
Yep.
So you end up getting more outs from your bullpen. And Griffin Jax is an accountable guy. He's been really, really good. Right,
yes.
One of the better relievers in baseball. But eventually it does take a toll on the relievers. In last night's game, Griffin Jax had to get the Twins and Pablo Lopez out of the 7th inning, and then he started the 8th. He didn't throw that many pitches in the 7th inning, and he's not going to use it as an excuse. But you've got to Randy's point, you've got to have more length from your starters, and it's hard to expect that when you've got 3 rookies in the starting rotation.
It's going to be a grind down to the final, I think, boys and girls. I think this is going to come down to the last day, whether or not they get in or not. I feel for Griffin Jax, this Manzardo guy, never heard of him. And obviously you know who I'm cheering for. But that was a pretty dramatic home run for this young kid for Cleveland. I mean, I feel a little bit good for him for that reason. For the Guardians, last night was their big league leading 40th come-from-behind win. That'll do you some favors in the long run when you're coming from behind and winning ball games. What's the first name of that closer? Clase.
Manuel Clase.
Manuel Clase, his 46th save last night. That ties Jose Mesa from 1995 for the club's single-season save record. That dude is terrific.
Well, that's one of the reasons why they're winning when they come from behind. When they get that lead back, I mean, he just shuts the door. I mean, that's a real closer, man. He's almost unbeatable, especially this time of year right now with so much on the line. I mean, that's the guy you want out there in the ninth inning for sure.
So, Dick Bramer, we mentioned yesterday, the Twins have Byron Buxton, they have Carlos Correa, they have Royce Lewis all in the lineup together. But there's no way that Correa and Buxton are feeling 100% at this point, is there?
No, neither one, and leg issues for each of them, right? Carlos has the foot problem, and it's been a hip issue for Byron. There was a subtle little play that Carlos made last night that I think underscores how valuable he is to this team. Remembering what he did with the two extraordinary plays he made in the playoff round against Toronto last year, but what got the Twins out of the inning without a really big number being put up, Lewis cuts in front of him on a ground ball. There's runners all over the place, and it's bobbled, a run scores, but a runner rounded third too far, and Correa scampered to the third base bag just to show you how heady he is. The Twins got a big out on a play where the shortstop instinctively went to fill third base when he saw the runner overrun the bag, and that was one of the big reasons the Twins had that lead through the bottom of the seventh inning.
Yep, that was a big play. Absolutely. Good point. I mean, even when he's not 100%,
right,
you can count on Carlos Correa to make plays like that. So you mentioned tonight's game, the second of this four-game series, Zebby Matthews for the Twins. And, well, the starter for Cleveland, a kid by the name of Gavin Williams, hasn't exactly been lighting the world on fire. But the Twins' bats still are really struggling to heat things up the last couple of weeks. Maybe this is a guy that they can attack.
Well, in Gavin Williams' defense, he's been hurt most of the year. He's only been back for like the last couple of months. So
okay,
but he's part of the Cleveland pitching pipeline, right? That's been the envy of pretty much everybody in baseball that isn't down in Tampa Bay. I mean, they keep producing these guys, and I think, to be honest, you need to give a lot of credit to the Cleveland pitching coach, one of my best buddies, Carl Willis, who's just done a great job taking unproven arms, and it goes down into the minor leagues for the Cleveland system as well. And Derek Falvey was a big part of that, of course, for many years. But I just think the world of Carl Willis as a pitching coach, because I think he does a great job dealing with both veteran pitchers and young guys who are trying to have a breakthrough in the major leagues, and Cleveland year in and year out seems to be able to get that done.
The big train, they called him, Carl Willis. See, Willie Miles, you said your mother-in-law's not feeling too good about where the Twins are at right now?
Yes. She's not. She's not very happy at all, man. It's the other day was really rough. Sunday.
She's not blaming
you. She's not blaming you. She just needs to hear your voice, Dick. You're right. But
well, as you said earlier, it's probably going to go down to the last weekend, and that's not really good news for the Twins as it relates to the threat that the Tigers are posing right now, because the Twins are at home, but against Baltimore, and those games almost certainly are going to be critical games for the Orioles. And then while the Twins are, battling the Baltimore Orioles at home, the Tigers are at home against the White Sox.
Yes. Yeah, I just got a couple text messages from some listeners who have looked ahead as well, Dick Bramer, and they say, we finished the weekend or the season with Baltimore. Detroit has the White. Hey, the White Sox have won 3 games in a row.
Good for them.
They're turning it around.
It's not too late.
The White Sox have won 3 games in a row. So, what's the story with the someone tell me what's going on with the rally sausage? I saw it a handful of games ago. Is it gone already?
I think you have to hit a home run to get the rally sausage thrown out of the dugout, right?
Oh, I thought it was just any time you crossed the plate, they would throw the rally sausage at you. Okay, so I'm waiting on a yard sale to see if it's still in the okay, I lost the meaning of the rally sausage because it was gone for so long. Okay, so speaking of pitching, the Twins did make a move for a veteran pitcher by the name of Cole Irvin. Speaking of Baltimore, he spent most of the season with Baltimore. This is a guy that's going to I guess, what are you doing here, Dick Bramer? Are they just trying to give some guys some rest in preparation for the playoffs, so you throw this guy in there once?
Well, he's a starter and a reliever, but the most important thing, I think, is he's left-handed.
Okay.
And the Twins have just one lefty on the staff, and that's Caleb Thielbar. And Caleb's quietly, I think, kind of turned his season around after a really rough start. But you like to have more left-handed arms out there, and this guy fits the bill. I was kind of surprised that the Orioles waived him. The thing to make note about him is he may be of some help in the final 2 weeks, but if the Twins do make the playoffs, it's, you know, he can't be on the playoff roster because he was acquired in the middle of September.
Right. Okay. Well, wouldn't it be something if he comes out and throws a 2-hitter or something like that?
It's good to dream.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, I love having lefties available. Man, if you're a lefty, you'll likely work until you're 50, right?
Yeah, just ask Jamie Moyer.
Yeah.
Wow.
You'll find
or
spot.
Jesse Orozco, who I think is, you know, older than I am. He just retired about 10 years ago.
Jesse Orozco. All right. So Cole Irvin. Look for him maybe to play a role before the season is over. Oh, wow. It's going to be stressful, Dick Bramer. I think we're all going to have to turn to the hooch a little bit here now and again.
Well, it's, this team was able to deal with injuries for a while, but eventually, they're going to take their toll. And we've talked about this in this segment on Tuesday mornings of all the injuries. Randy touched on it. The one to Joe Ryan is probably, whether the Twins get into the playoffs or not, it's probably going to be thought of as the most significant injury the Twins had, just because he was so steady and a part of a really steady rotation last year. And then, he graduated up towards the top of the rotation. So too did Bailey Ober. And you had Lopez, Ober, and Joe Ryan, and you felt pretty good every time those guys got the ball. The Twins were going to win a ball game. But when Ryan went down, suddenly you're dealing with more inexperienced starters than experienced starters.
Mm-hmm. And where would the Twins be if Bailey Ober did not develop into the Bailey Ober we see right now? If Bailey Ober had not taken a couple of big steps forward this year, the Twins may not be in the position that they're in right now, just because he was, during that one stretch after the All-Star break, maybe it was, or before the All-Star break, after the All-Star break, for like that first month and a half, he was as good as any starter in the major leagues. I think he had like 8 or 9 consecutive quality starts. I mean, the guy was tremendous. So just think,
and durable, which is increasingly such an important part for a starter. Pablo's been durable. Bailey Ober's been durable. And in this day and age, if you've got a guy who can make 30 starts, be healthy over the course of the whole season, well, then you've got something.
And, I know we still got a week or so to go here, but if we're talking about, where would this club be without this guy or the other guy, moving away from pitchers, I think if I was to hand out a season MVP, I think I'd give it to 2 guys. One would be Willie Castro. The other will be Carlos Santana.
Absolutely.
I love what those guys have done this year.
And neither one is hitting over 250. And neither one is hitting over 250. But Castro has played virtually every position. And he didn't hit leadoff last night, but he's jumped around that lineup all over the place. And if you were to ask who will lead the team in home runs before the season started, I don't think many people would have said Santana, but he's sitting there at 22? So you're right. I mean, those 2 guys have been in the lineup virtually every day this season and have provided that stability.
And it's nice for the Twins and their fans that, they've got a first baseman, a guy who's actually a first baseman instead of, last year at this time, Eddie Julian was over there. The year before that, it was, Luis Arraez. And so you've got a guy over there who actually, his footwork is good. He might win a Gold Glove award over there at first base this year, and that's a big help, not just on the right side of the infield, but the left side of the infield too.
Do you guys remember this? Some goofball jumped up on Twitter before the baseball season and said, if Carlos Santana hits more than 10 home runs, I'll do this or that. What was that again that he said he would do?
Oh, I don't remember.
Dana, you're a Twitter guy.
I'm trying to remember. Yeah,
look that up. And I think the guy went cold.
It was something ridiculous, right?
Deleted the tweet.
Once Carlos reached 12 home runs or something, which was a couple months ago, the guy disappeared from Earth because he promised he would do something terrible if Carlos. Anyway, I know this story's a couple weeks old, but I got to get your opinion, Dick Bramer, on this kid in the Twins farm system, the catcher, who we talked about a week or so ago. I don't think we discussed this with you. He was tipping pitches to the opposing team's batters, and the Twins told him when the game was over to go home.
Wow. Credit to the Twins for doing that. Crash Davis did it in the movie, right? He tipped the batter as to what pitch was coming when Nick Lelouch was on the mound. But in a competitive situation, can you imagine what his teammates thought about that?
Oh my God!
I mean, they're out there. They're trying to win a ball game, and the catcher is tipping on. That's just terrible. It's an awful, awful story. And I don't know whether the guy had enough talent to ever make it to the big leagues, but he pretty much secured his lack of a future with that.
The Twins fan, or the Twins hater, who apparently didn't think Santana could hit 15 home runs, said he'll do a shot of olive oil.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
A shot of olive oil. I mean, yeah.
Gross.
I don't know. That doesn't.
Maybe that's not as bad as I remember.
No. That's pretty weak, actually.
There's no reason to run away.
No.
You'll live.
Right. You might be a little bit healthier.
It's probably good for your coat, right? Like a dog.
Yeah. I thought it was more dramatic than that. But anyway.
Yeah, I remembered it differently.
Back to this kid, this catcher. Yeah, like Dick said, he's likely sealed his fate. Who the hell's going to take a chance on him unless he's the second coming of Don Mattingly? Wait a minute, he was the first baseman. The second coming of Gary Carter or something like that.
Right.
But that's a good point. And you know what someone said to me in the bar? They said, why did the skipper, because they had 2 games left or whatever after this kid pulled that trick, and the manager chose to just put him in the bullpen by himself. Someone at the beer hall said, hell, put him in the dugout with all the guys. He should have to hear every comment.
Mm-hmm. Right.
He should have to hear everything that his teammates thought of him at that point. Don't put him alone in the bullpen. Put him in the dugout, even if he gets a beating.
And speaking of Crash Davis, if he wanted the season to be over, he should have just flooded the field like they did when they needed a day off.
Oh, man. You know what else is going on? Someone said something about Luis Arraez. Oh, Dick mentioned Luis Arraez a minute ago. Padres leadoff hitter now. He recently had a streak of plate appearances without a strikeout. 141 plate appearances without a strikeout until last night. He hadn't struck out since August 10th.
Wow.
And has, I think right now, I did check this morning, and I think I saw a 21-point lead in the National League batting race.
So what would that make for him now if he wins? Would that be 2 batting titles? I can't remember.
3 batting titles for 3 different teams.
Yes. Yes.
I'm sorry.
It's consistent.
Why would anybody trade him?
Wait a minute now.
I don't get it.
No. I did not want to turn this into a why did they trade Luis Arraez, because I think we've all agreed that Pablo Lopez was, is the guy that we've. You're not in line with that, C. Willie?
No. I mean, 3 batting. I mean,
they desperately needed a starting pitcher. They got Pablo Lopez.
You just trading a good bat away.
That's what they did.
Okay.
You got to get over it.
That made no sense.
He's one of my top 5 guys to ever wear a Twins uniform, right? I stay in contact with him. I'm a big Luis Arraez guy. But the analytics people will also point out that he's leading the National League in hitting, and he has a 752 OPS, on-base plus slugging percentage, which is the same as Ryan Jeffers, who's hitting, 230, 240, something like that.
Right.
And OPS is such a big stat now in baseball. It's probably the most important stat in evaluating a hitter. But Luis is who he is. He's a singles hitter, and so he may win another batting title, but he's got a very pedestrian average OPS, and that's just who he is. It's also one of the reasons why the Twins thought they made a really great deal in getting Pablo Lopez, and it's kind of hard to argue that, even if he does win another batting title.
Okay.
I'm with Dick Bramer.
But you're struggling to make it into the playoffs. So.
Well, the Padres aren't lighting the world on fire either, are they?
Yeah, but he's winning another batting title.
Well, we're not going to talk you out of this, are we?
Yeah, we could have won something.
We're not going to talk him out of this one. I love both players so much. I'm with Dick Bramer. I loved watching Luis Arraez. Oh, he was such a fun guy to watch and a nice kid. I love both Pablo and Luis Arraez.
My mother-in-law misses him.
Your mother-in-law misses Luis Arraez.
Right.
This show is not about your mother-in-law.
Hey, she's 94 years old. And do you know the game the other day was on Apple TV.
And that confused the hell out of her?
Have you ever tried to walk your mother-in-law through how to download Apple on her TV?
That's the worst.
I gave her my password. I had to literally change my password to make it something because she doesn't know when I say hyphen.
This was the day you wish you were a drinking man.
Right. So I changed my password to her, to like her, something she can remember, her name and her garage code.
Yeah.
And she pulled it up and then show her how to use the thing to scroll down to find the car. She goes, oh my God, why would they have this game on this stupid? I'm like,
right.
I said, I know, Mom, I'm sorry. And
I think a lot of us that are tech support for their family understand.
Yeah.
She's 94, and I'm telling you, when they lost that game, she goes, oh, I don't know how long I'm gonna be here. I'm like, Mom, you're gonna be around though. I'm like, the Twins got to win, man.
Wow.
They need to get in the playoffs and something because she's starting to get really sad.
She's a sweet lady.
I know.
We don't want her to be sad.
But I didn't bring up Dick's name.
No. So I'll tell you what. Yeah, Luis Arraez, he tied Tony Gwynn with that 141 plate appearances without a strikeout. He tied Tony Gwynn for the 5th longest in the last 40 years. Anytime you're mentioned in the same sentence with Tony Gwynn, of course, that's incredible because he was just amazing at what he did. Tony Gwynn had a 170 plate appearance without a strikeout in 1995. So anyway, I didn't mean to start a big Luis thing.
Well, three batting titles in 3 years with 3 different teams. That's a record. That's a record that may never, ever be broken.
How'd you like to be Louis Arraez? You're a really good player, right? But you break in with the Minnesota Twins, and everybody compares you to Rod Carew. Yep. Right now you're in San Diego, and everybody compares you to Tony Gwynn. I mean, what you do is going to be compared to 2 of the greatest hitters of all time. And he's doing very well.
Yeah,
he did well with the Twins, and now he's doing well with the Padres.
He's living up to the hype.
I was just going to say that. Actually, I think that's a pretty good thing. I mean, he's proven himself for sure.
Yeah. I suppose he had a little bit of a break when he was playing for the Marlins. I don't know who were they comparing him to there. I don't know.
Juan Pierre.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, Juan Pierre or Luis Castillo or something. All right, Dick Bramer, it's a big one tonight. Well, they're all big from here on out.
Yes.
We'll check them out, Twins Guardians tonight. We always appreciate your visits, and just hearing your voice is comforting during these stressful times.
Well, let's see what the world looks like next Tuesday.
You bet, man. Thank you, Dick.
Yep.
Oh, 5:40 tonight, I think, is game time for the Twins. Hey, Josh, you got to let me in on something. When we were loading up to begin this conversation, I had my headphones on. I missed it. C. Willie said something. You were laughing your balls off. Please let me be part of this. What happened?
We can't get into that.
Was it too dirty?
Yeah, it was maybe not necessarily dirty, but yeah, we can't have that conversation on air. But C. Willie nearly killed me off air.
Your last 2 visits, you've been coming off more like the Dice Man. A lot of filth.
Not really.
There's been a lot of filth.
It's this room, man. It gives off that vibe.
Yeah. It's funny. So I don't really cuss much, but my wife, she is cussing all the time.
Like an over-the-road truck driver.
Yeah, and she has changed. Before we got married, I don't think I heard her say damn, and I'm not even joking.
It's all right.
And she blames me for it. And I don't even cuss that much. She always tells, after being married to him for so long, I got a bad mouth. I don't have a bad mouth. I get blamed for that. But yeah, off the air, C. Willie was giving me advice on if I ever have to go to prison.
Oh,
right. And one of the things he said nearly killed me. I wish I could share that.
But see, and I swear I don't remember what I said because that is literally my life. My show is I say what I say and I move on with my life and I think of something else.
Will you tell us the joke on the boat Friday?
Sure.
All right.
Oh, yeah.
I'll have to remind him what it was.
Gather around C. Willie Miles on the boat Friday and ask him about his prison joke.
Well, I learned why I don't want to be the biggest guy in prison. I want to be the second biggest guy.
Okay.
Exactly.
All right.
I'll just say that.
Randy Shaver, you must have just been falling down and touching yourself at the close of last night's Monday Night Football game because your little pal.
Oh, my little pal.
They're,
what?
Captain
Kirko?
Death Rocks.
Kirko?
Yeah, he was Kirko Chains last
How
night.
about that?
Stupid
huh?
idiot Kirk Cousins came back and beat my team, the Eagles. They were my team last night, the Eagles.
It just goes to show you how topsy-turvy the NFL is right now. I mean, how crazy that Atlanta goes into Philly to win that game. How nuts is it that the Vikings are 2-0? How crazy is it that the Saints demolished the Dallas Cowboys in Dallas? Tampa's 2-0. Seattle's 2-0. Yeah, that game last night was, I mean, if you're an Atlanta Falcons fan, you've got to be happy about what you saw last night.
Well, I read an article at halftime where the Falcons fans wanted Kirk gone.
Sure.
There were so many articles written on they were all over social media.
After week one.
Yeah, you saw that too, Dana?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, halftime they were like, get him out of there. He sucks.
Yep.
He'll have a couple of bad series next week, and they'll say the same damn thing.
Yeah.
They want to see that young kid. Who's the young kid that's waiting behind him?
Is that Bo? No, Penix.
Penix.
Yeah, Michael Penix.
The kid from Washington.
Cousins looks right, has a man, touchdown, Drake London. The Atlanta Falcons are going to leave Philadelphia with a 1-point win.
No, who did that? Did you do that, Josh?
Did what?
That friggin' that edit. Please tell me he didn't do the that thing again.
In that clip?
Yes.
I didn't hear it.
Cousins looks right, has a man, touchdown, Drake London. The Atlanta Falcons are going to leave Philadelphia with a 1-point win.
Yeah, where?
That was in my head.
Well, you just did turn 53.
Oh, God, I hate that gimmick so much. The fact that a dude saying you like that turned into a catchphrase just galls me.
I didn't hear it.
Cousins looks right.
It's not there. It was in my head.
Touchdown, Drake London. The Atlanta Falcons are going to leave Philadelphia with a 1-point win.
I heard it again.
You're hearing things, dude.
By the way, how about the move by Drake London on that pass play to set himself apart from the cornerback? He completely froze that cornerback on a simple out pattern last night to win the game.
And the officials kind of handed that victory to the Falcons, too, so.
Yeah. That cornerback, that was a trash move.
I'm kidding. I have no idea what I'm talking about. I was hoping I would get some static on that comment.
I don't.
Looking for help.
Yeah, I have no idea what I'm talking about.
Like we were talking earlier, the Eagles fans, well, everyone thought it was done. That's it.
Yeah,
they won this game.
Well, it was like that kind of a scene where it was over?
Oh, it sure seemed that way. Was it Barkley that dropped that pass?
Yep.
Yeah, had he caught the pass at the end there, the game would have been over. He dropped the pass, and that was it.
I just hate that guy's guts so much.
Yeah, there's some people that are having some hearing issues. There's people texting in saying they also heard him say you like that at the end of the game.
So I'm not the only one? There was a big guy that blew his knee out last night, and it wasn't a player. So before the game, as if my blood pressure isn't already at a dangerous level, before the game, Jason Kelce was hanging out with whatever they do before the game. And then during the game, I understand he was part of the broadcast because we just can't get enough of Jason and the other Kelce guy. Okay, so before the game, Jason Kelce is hanging out with some people at a tailgate party, and he decides to get into a three-point stance, and some big, heavy Eagles fan at the tailgate party,
shirtless,
lined up across him. Yeah, guy had no shirt on. He's the size of a house. And they say down set hut, and they chest bumped each other. And the big giant guy with no shirt blew his knee out.
Oh, no.
And it was absolutely hilarious.
Oh, I felt bad for that
sucks.
guy.
That's up on 93x.com.
At first, he's thinking, well, I'm going to be okay. And then eventually he realized I'm
he was
done.
Not okay.
Yeah.
Limping.
Big guy blew his knee out, chest bumping with Jason Kelce.
Yeah, that was after he was doing the running man and everything on stage, too.
Jason Kelsey?
Yeah.
He's
the
a better
running man.
dancer than I would have thought.
See, because that's not really a cool dance, is it, Wobble?
No, it's
But
not.
he does it anyway, doesn't he?
And he's got a tracksuit on.
I know.
It's funny.
Does he have a big beard?
Yeah, he's
Oh
got
my
a huge
God.
beard. And look at his necklace.
I can't do it.
Oh, wow. But you don't like him either, huh? Maybe it's just because compared to his brother, almost anything would be better.
Yeah,
but I like
I like
Jason
it.
Kelly.
I do. He's definitely more favorable.
I actually do like him better. for
Nobody
sure.
likes him.
Except the three people that just said it.
I demand it.
No, I thought I was hearing things again. That wasn't just in my head.
We actually said it.
Here is a headline: Randy Shaver, C. Willie Miles, Josh, Ashley, Dana Wobble. Here's a headline from a website called SB Nation. It says the Vikings are for real. Ignore them at your peril.
Oh, jeez.
Stop it.
Okay.
A little too serious, but I get it.
What do you mean?
I'm not
So they go on to say, there's two ways this can go. Randy Shaver mentioned they're 2-0. They beat the Giants. Well, anyone can beat the Giants. And then the impressive game Sunday against the San Francisco. There's two ways this can go, they say at SB Nation. Either Darnold and the Vikings are able to keep this rolling, giving us one of the more unbelievable playoff runs in recent memory, or this all bursts into flames as defensive coordinators adjust. It goes on to say, before you say out loud, well, that's just negative thinking, consider that this exact scenario happened in 20+21 with the Carolina Panthers when Darnold had 4 straight weeks of incredible play and then defenses adjusted and he crumbled into dust.
I don't want to think about that.
I mean, it's so early. Anything can happen, but I think Viking fans are encouraged for two things. One, he's managed the game and made some plays, but maybe more than that, their defense has shown to be pretty good. And if your defense can keep you in football games, which this defense so far has done that, then I think the Vikings fans feel like there's a lot of hope that the offense can just manage to get enough points to be competitive to win some games.
Have you watched the first couple of games, C. Willie Miles?
Yes.
What'd you think? You're a football guy.
I like what I see.
Yeah?
I like what I see. I think they got a good pair of running backs. The receiving core looks great. I'm concerned about Jefferson. Hope he's okay.
Concerned about him also getting the ball in this offense.
Exactly.
I think a lot of people thought at the beginning of the year, is he even going to be able to be effective with Darnold as the quarterback? And I think Darnold answered that question for people too. So
exactly.
Darnold.
Has anyone thought if Darnold goes down, who is our backup quarterback?
You know who he is.
It's Fran Tarkenton.
Wow. He can still play?
Yes.
That kind of worries
I
me.
don't know who it is.
I have no idea.
If it's one of those guys from last year, whatever their names were, I can't think of their names.
It looks like Matt Carroll.
Oh, right. They gave him a phone call a few weeks ago. Matt Carroll.
Played for the Panthers.
Yeah, no.
Everybody's played for the Panthers.
Devastated.
Speaking of the Carolina Panthers, quarterback Bryce Young has been benched.
How about that?
Yeah, that's funny.
How about
Okay, tell me
that?
his backstory. I don't know, but everyone seems
He's
to.
the number one kid in the draft.
Mm-hmm.
They took him over C.J. Stroud.
So how many years ago?
Just 2 years ago.
2 years
He
ago.
was
Okay.
drafted number one not this last draft, the
Right.
draft before.
Okay.
And they chose him. Everybody thought, okay, everybody thought Stroud and this kid were like dead even as far as the best quarterbacks to come out for the draft. But the Texans were thrilled when Stroud was not taken number one. And it's proven this kid has just struggled terribly.
Okay.
Terribly. I saw an interview by Adam Thielen where he tried to basically say it was the offense in general, that the kid is working hard, that it's not all his fault. Well, it all starts with the quarterback, right? And he has struggled terribly.
Where'd he go to college? Where'd Bryce Young go to college?
I think he went to
Alabama.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I have just vague memories of who this kid is, obviously.
Yeah, and he had a great college career. I mean, he legitimately was number one, number two player to be drafted as far as quarterbacks go in that draft. It wasn't like he was Christian Ponder, and everybody went, "What the hell are you doing?"
So the Panthers are going with Josh Dobbs now.
No.
Also, too, remember the Panthers basically traded every draft pick they have until about 2030 to move up to get this guy.
Exactly.
Well, that's too bad.
Well, that's a problem, and that's again, is he a great quarterback? No, he's not. Right. But I think a lot of the times it's what team you go to.
Well,
there are
personnel
that
around
team,
you, right?
and that personnel that he does not have.
No.
Great. He looks like, he's same as Justin Fields over in Chicago when he went to Chicago. He had nobody.
And here's the thing. They've already changed coaching staffs once, right?
Exactly.
So now he's with his second coaching staff in 2 years. So
And people don't understand that. But I mean, it gets very, very tough, and it's frustrating for a quarterback when you don't have you have different personnel every year.
So you're saying maybe on a better ball club, this kid could excel.
Well, Sam Darnold, I think you could use him as a good example of that.
Exactly.
A couple people have texted in and said the Carolina Panthers offensive line are a bunch of morons.
They're trash.
I absolutely love when Adam Thielen left the Vikings. He says, it's because I want to go to a Super Bowl contending team.
Exactly.
He did say that.
That was that money talking.
Yeah.
Wow, you really enjoyed that, didn't you?
Dude, yeah.
What was wrong with him?
He had 1 win last year, 2 wins.
Is there something wrong with him? Why did he choose to go play with that club?
Money.
That was a big check.
Okay, but really? I mean,
hey, money talks.
Well, no, trust me.
I would rather have a Super Bowl than money.
I understand all that, but the guy already has all the money in the world. I want to know what the differential was between a quality team's offer and the Carolina Panthers offer.
I think he was just so hyped on Bryce Young.
It better have been monstrous.
Yeah, it was pretty. Yeah,
was it significant? I don't know.
It was very much more
for what he was going to get at this point in his career. Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
And you go for that last paycheck, man. When you go for that last contract and you try to get as much guaranteed as possible because you know it's going to be your last one. So.
Well, yeah, but I mean, what the hell kind of stack of money was he sitting on when he left here?
I know.
I mean, does he have a problem spending money or something?
The problem is that you can't have enough money. Once you get a lot of money, you want more money.
Okay.
More money, more money, more money.
No, you're right.
More money, more problems.
For some people, that is
honestly
the case.
And I am not that.
Yeah.
I'm not that person.
You're not that person.
Absolutely not.
I wonder what they told him here too. Like, hey, we're going to kind of phase you out, with who we're bringing in.
No,
I don't think they had to tell him anything. I think he saw the writing on the wall here.
Well, that's what I mean. So he knew his future here. So it's not just money. It would be, a portion of that as well.
But wouldn't the Vikings love to have him back right now?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, considering, Addison.
I don't know. I question his decision making at this point.
That's one of those things where you can picture when he's doing that interview, the camera guy and the interviewer kind of side-eyeing himself after he says Super Bowl contender.
But that's what Smith, defensive back, what's his name?
Harrison
Smith. I mean, he took less money.
Okay.
He wanted to stay a Viking.
Sure.
And at some point, you've made enough money.
Right.
It's not like they're not paying him. Like, he's not hourly employee. He's making millions of dollars.
Yeah, that's exactly where I'm going with it. Obviously,
he had the opportunity to do the same thing.
So more anxiety than Hair Jesus sent a screenshot. Looks like Thielen made $25 million for 3 years.
There you go.
Yeah, but I want to know. Show me an offer from a decent football team. The difference better be insane. That he said, well, I want to make more money. But you know what? See, Willie, you're right. There are some people that have that mindset. Once you hit a certain mark, man, you want to keep going.
Exactly.
It's just, would you want him back on this team? I question his decision making. He's probably gonna run a route out of bounds and then complain about being open. His decision making is in question at this point. Now, Bryce Young isn't the first number 1 overall pick to be benched. Obvious,
Right.
There's plenty that aren't that interesting. Jameson, Winston, Jamarcus Russell, Tim Couch.
Jamarcus Russell was a trash bin fire.
Yeah, we all know that. Yeah. That's not interesting, really, those stories. Okay, sure. Number 1 overall picks being benched. But there are a couple that are kind of interesting. John Elway was benched and replaced by veteran quarterback Steve DeBerg.
Sure.
When John Elway was a rookie in 1983, he was just terrible. He returned in week 11 after they, slapped some sense into him.
All right.
And then, of course, he went on to a Hall of Fame career. Terry Bradshaw was benched a couple of times when he was, even in his first 3 or 4 years.
Yeah.
Terry Bradshaw looked like a moron out there at times, and they benched him. Oh, for big names like Randy Shaver. They benched him for big names like backup quarterback Terry Hanratty.
Terry Hanratty.
Yeah.
Hey.
Terry Hanratty.
Waffles always got a Hanratty.
I think Peyton Manning led the league in interceptions his rookie year.
Yep. But they kept him on the field.
And easily could have benched him.
Yeah. Troy Aikman was benched.
Yeah.
Ryan Leaf.
Oh, well, yeah, but he was
a little
awful.
mental. Yeah.
So it ain't over for Bryce Young.
No, it's not over. But
Hell no, it ain't over.
But for Carolina as a team, they felt like if they want to salvage their season, I think they're turning it over to the redhead guy, the 36-year-old quarterback.
Oh, the pink
Dalton. Yep.
Yeah.
Talking about the
Andy
pink crayon.
Dalton. Yeah.
That's who they're.
Andy Dalton.
I love the pink crayon.
Another guy.
Yeah.
I thought he was retired.
I did. I think he was, Randy.
I thought the tweet was a joke when they said that Dalton was going to be the guy that was replacing him at first.
The pink crayon will never die. He will stay around forever.
Carrot top.
Mm-hmm. All right. One more little note here for you. The apparently that Gable Steveson dude is trying to get a job with the Baltimore Ravens now. He's working out with the Ravens. I think he'll land that gig, and I think he'll stay with that ball club because a lot of folks don't know this, but the general manager of the Baltimore Ravens is Bubba Ray Dudley.
Yeah, he's got an in.
Well, for Stevenson, all he needs right now is to get on a practice squad. He just needs to get someplace where he can be with a team all year and just kind of learn, right?
Yeah, I mean, he's never played football up until a couple months ago.
He just needs somebody to give him an opportunity to stick around a team for a year to see if he's got the potential to do this or not.
Maybe he doesn't have what it takes, and that's okay, too.
Right.
I'll be totally honest with you. I just wanted to try a Bubba Ray Dudley joke out on you. I really couldn't possibly care less where Gable Steveson plays football. Oh, and Sid Crosby signed a 2-year contract extension with the, what do you call that club he plays for? The
Penguins?
The Penguins?
Pittsburgh Penguins, yeah. Sid Crosby. That sumbitch will be 30.
He's as old as Andy Dalton.
Wow. Yeah. He aged fast.
He's 37, I think, now.
Yeah.
Sid.
He's been in the league 30 years already, right?
35 years. 35 years. He started playing when he was 2.
It's like,
Penguins signed him when he was 2.
But didn't he come in the league at like 18 or 19?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
This will be his 20th season, I believe.
Holy moly.
Yeah, this will be his 20th season.
That's crazy.
That is unreal.
And he's, I hated his guts for the longest time because of the club he played for. I hate the Pittsburgh Penguins. But, I mean, obviously, one of the greatest to ever lace them up.
Yep.
Yeah, but Bedard was that young, too.
Who, what?
Bedard with Chicago.
Bedard?
Bedard.
What about him?
Bedard. He's really young, too. I mean, he's only 18, 19.
Yeah, he plays for the wrong hockey team, too. I don't follow Bedard, whoever he is, because he plays for the wrong friggin' team.
Right.
Wow.
But there you go. Sid the Kid, when this contract is over, he'll be 40 years old.
Wow.
That is unbelievable.
I know.
If someone would have asked me right now, if you hadn't said that, how old is Sidney Crawford? What's his name?
Crosby.
Honestly, I would have said probably 28, 29. Honest to God, I would have. It doesn't seem like the kids, but you know what I mean? He ain't even a kid. He's a grown man. Probably got grown children.
Yeah. He probably has some grown children by now.
Grown children, a couple of homes.
Gone through a couple wives at this point. Yeah.
Grandkids.
Grown man.
Good Lord.
Grown man now, Randy Shaver. All right there, pal. We will talk to you tomorrow. Randy, we thank you for all the insight.
You bet. Thank you.
We'll talk to you. And we'll be back with more from C. Willie Miles here on the Half-Assed Morning Show.
The 93X Half-Assed Morning Show.
Did you know that Standard Heating opened its doors over 90 years ago? That's right. Tony Ferreira opened the doors in 1930. Now ran by his granddaughter, Claire Ferreira. Call Standard Heating and Air Conditioning today and experience the customer service and care that holds true today.
Are you looking to improve your work-life balance with excellent benefits like 401k match and even tuition reimbursement? Standard Heating and Air is looking for an accounting administrator and customer service representatives to join their team. Learn more at standardheating.com/careers today.
Former Navy SEAL Mike Ridlin keeps it real on the Mic Drop podcast.
Welcome to the stage, Ben the Hammer Sledge.
They were always trying to get me to just drop my packet to become an officer, but I just discovered I loved being with the troops on the ground. And so I was like, nah, I don't want to do this. And plus, Sergeant Sledge sounded so much cooler than, Sergeant Sledge sounds like a G.I. Joe character.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Mic Drop, raw, unfiltered, intellectually sound, wherever you listen.
The 93X Half-Assed Morning Show.
Sorry. I wasn't ready for that.
Oh, gosh.
I just wasn't ready for it. I was doing other things over here. I got a brand new drum machine.
Drum machine. That's what you were doing. Why, Josh? Why?
Are you the disappointed parent?
Yeah.
That's what my friggin' wife's going to be asking you via text message, I bet, later on today, Cubby.
Well, you can put headphones in there if it's bothering her.
Oh. See, Willie Miles said you better keep that thing at the radio station. Your wife will kill you. It's my special 53rd birthday broadcast with in-studio guest C. Willie Miles, who entered the room in a giant cake.
Chocolate.
Oh, man, one big chocolate cake. Thank you for listening to the 93X Half-Assed Morning Show, and thank you all again for your wonderful birthday wishes. A lot of you have been texting in happy birthday messages. You're a glorious crowd. We were talking earlier about how when you reach a certain age, you can't help but look back and try and find out where your life has gone. Right, C. Willie Miles?
Absolutely.
You were talking earlier about how you can't believe Sidney Crosby of the Pittsburgh Penguins is 38 friggin' years old already.
Absolutely.
Time goes flying by, doesn't it, Josh?
It does. It's crazy. I was talking to a buddy about this the other day. Remember when you were a little kid and the day after Christmas you were miserable because you had to wait a whole year until the next Christmas?
Yeah.
Now it just blows by. It's so fast.
Yeah, or you used to look at the old people and they'd be like, oh, you better enjoy your time now because time goes faster and faster. And you're like, no, it doesn't.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden it does.
Yeah.
You'd say, shut up, old-timer.
Yeah.
What do you know?
You don't know what it's like.
Who you talking to, Grandpa?
How would you know? You were never young.
Yeah.
Oh, my gosh.
Right, you've always just been an old, wrinkled grandpa. What do you know about anything?
I met you. You were 40.
Did your guys' grandparents or parents always use that line? Like, I was your age at one point. I wasn't just born at 40 years old.
Yeah.
They never dumped that line on me,
Yeah,
but
they
I know
use that a
exactly
lot on
what
me.
you're talking about. Yeah, we were talking a little earlier about this kind of thing. Looking back, I mentioned, thank God I'm not a parent. I was never built for that. Never built for that.
No one is, really. I mean, you just go out on that limb and do it, but you're not built for it. There's books on it, but those half of them are wrong.
You never read?
They're not for every kid.
Josh, did you ever sit down and read a parenting book?
I did.
Did you really?
Parenting for dummies.
That doesn't surprise me. You're the kind of guy who seeks information. You continue to want to learn new things.
Well, my wife, I was lucky. It was a buy one get two free, right? Where she had two kids, and I at first I thought, well, shoot, I'm not ready. I'm not ready to, But after a while, it's like I can't imagine not having these kids in my life. So I thought I better learn how to be a parent.
You're not imagining hard enough. I don't think.
So yeah, I read a couple books.
Did you?
Yeah.
Was some of it just silly?
Oh, some of it was like pretty stupid.
Where you read it and you said, okay, no grown person's actually going to do that with their child or to their child.
Yeah, I learned a few things, but yeah, I remember. At first I thought, well, you just got to get them plenty of sun. You water them, fertilize them every once in a while.
Exactly.
But yeah, it's a lot different than that.
Were you a very young father?
Yes.
Very young. How old were you the first time around?
20.
No kidding.
Wow.
Yeah.
I wanted
both of my kids are grown and gone now. So.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
20.
So you were always the young parent.
Yeah, exactly.
You're the
And
cool
you know
one.
what? And I had a daughter, and that scared me because that's the only time I think I really started to research and say, how do you raise a daughter? And not thinking, oh my God, you have a wife too. So
right.
But anyway, everything that it was in that book, everything I read, it was just wrong. It's just wrong. You just, you know what I mean? Like being a parent is it's like you wake up every day and you start training over and over and over. You just it's, you know what I mean? It's Groundhog's Day.
You react. all you can do is just kind of exist and react to the given situation.
Exactly, because it changes.
Reading about it's not going to prepare you for it.
And today, if you would ask me, would I have the relationship with my daughter that I have today? I would. There's no way. I mean, we are thick as. My wife to this day looks at me sometime and go, I don't even understand the conversations that you two have. You have your own language.
Mm-hmm.
You have your own,
Mm-hmm.
and she's so much like me. She's I'd heard the term daddy's girl.
Yeah.
That's my daughter. That's what she is.
She's very much like her father.
Yeah. My son, not a father's son.
Not much like you.
No, not much like me.
Huh.
I mean, I love him to death, but he's rebellish, and I was not that kid.
No.
I was not that kid.
So you were 20 years old when you had your first child.
Yeah.
Were you? I mean, did
My
you?
wife was 21.
Right.
Did you have a pot to piss in?
No.
Yeah, and
or a window to throw it out of.
See,
but you learn, man. I was in college.
That's interesting for a lot of reasons, but 33 years ago, I was 20 years old, and I thought I was going to be a daddy.
Yeah.
But it was a false alarm.
Right.
And by the way, at the same time, I kind of think maybe it was a test to see how I'd react.
Right.
I'm not completely sold. I got a phone call. I was 20 years old, working a night job at a warehouse. Me and my warehouse pal had wrapped up our night shift. It was like 1 o'clock in the morning, so we just got off work. We're sitting on my couch, watching television, drinking beer. The gal I was seeing at the time calls me and says, I'm pregnant. And I had absolutely zero idea what to say, how to react. I did not have a pot to piss in. And I remember saying, something along the lines of, I guess whatever it takes, I'll do. I said some kind of encouraging comment and goodbye. And I sat back down next to my bro and I said, well, I think I'm going to be a daddy. I had no friggin' idea what I was going to do. And then the next day she calls and says, no, false alarm. So I think maybe it was a test to see how I'd react. I don't know.
There was a time where you were so, whorish, if you don't mind me saying.
Oh, my God.
He asked me to put together a go bag or a bug out bag, like they have maybe if you're a special operator in the military.
Yes.
Or just if you get the phone call and then you're gone.
Yeah. There's a candle in there, a peanut butter sandwich.
A fake passport.
A pair of
handheld
underwears.
Yahtzee.
Yeah, just something just to survive for a handful of days.
And you're in a spider hole in Afghanistan the rest of your life.
Yep. 20 years old, C. Willie Miles.
Yeah,
so
man.
what? You were still playing college ball and what?
Yes, I
so
was.
how did
You're
that?
working up. It was my last year though. So
Okay.
At the end of the day, it was one of those situations where it wasn't. We're in a relationship, so it wasn't like it wasn't planned. But it happened.
You were in a relationship.
Yeah.
It wasn't
so
planned.
when you get faced with that, the thing is you just stand up to it. You know what I mean?
Okay.
That's all I did. I mean, I grew up with 9 older sisters, dude.
Yeah. Oh well. So
And
you knew a thing or two.
responsibilities was just that was draped on me at a very young age, and
So it sounds like you were way more ready for it. 20-year-old C. Willie Miles was way more ready for it than 20-year-old.
I was not ready for it, but I embraced it. You know what I mean?
Okay.
I dove in and said, how can I help? And with the help of her parents and so forth and so on, we got through it. You know what I mean? And
that night when the gal called me and said, I'm pregnant, and I said, okay, I'll see you tomorrow. I remember, I probably should have started to mentally prepare myself for God knows what, but instead I just sat on the couch and drank more beer that night. I don't remember.
I mean, what was your mood like?
It
Do you
really
remember?
did-
Were you sad? Were you excited at all? Like
No,
not at all?
no, not excited at all. I'm just looking back and thinking I didn't really react at all. Other than having a brief conversation with my pal, I went right back to staring at the television and drinking more beer, which leads me to think, my God, if that would have happened, that child would now be 33 years old and probably the biggest derelict in town.
You know what, Wapple? How old are you, Wapple?
I'm 32.
Oh, my goodness. Look across the way, Nick. That could be your son.
Hi, Daddy?
You know what? It'd be way worse.
I do have to.
Are the father.
So is that kind of why you didn't really drink too? Is because you had the kid at 20, so then it's like...
You're talking to C. Willie Miles here.
Because during that time when you'd be partying, I mean, you had to look after your daughter.
Yeah. Well, I went to St. Cloud State. I would have started drinking way before.
You have to prove your drinking aptitude to even get in.
Yeah, no, I never drink. So in the drinking age when I started college was 18.
Oh, okay.
So I was grandfathered in when it turned to 19 the next year.
What's it like with your kids? My kids. So I grew up in a commune, and my brother and my cousin were, really good at keeping you humble, right? Like you get all kinds of crap. And now kids, it's even worse. They are my bullies. They say some terrible things to me over and over and over. We kind of have that fun type of relationship. Is it the same with your kids, where I think they've helped me have real thick skin?
Well, my daughter is a very, my daughter, both of my kids keeps me humble. My wife keeps me humble more than anybody. Like, dude, I can be out on the road. I mean, when I was out on the road touring, and when I was like with the Temptations and and so forth, I'd fly back in on a private jet. I'd come out, get dropped off by a tour bus, and my wife, I'd get home and there'd be a note. My wife like, can you make sure to take out the garbage and the lawn needs to be mowed. The lawnmower people aren't coming until Thursday. Can you knock it down just 2 inches on the? I'd be like, dude, I'm kind of a big deal right now.
See, Willie doesn't cut grass.
Maybe I'll call him and see if I can get him to come over. Maybe if I tell him, he'll do it. No, but no, my kids, get back to what Waffle had asked me is listen, I always wanted, because I had my kids young and I knew I was going to be a young father, the only thing that made sense to me was be a good example. That's all it was. So I never drank anyway. I never smoked, never did drugs or anything like that. So just be a good example. And when I started doing comedy, that's what drove me to do the type of entertainment that I'm doing right now. My kids have always been able to come to my shows ever since they was little. And so, so I think, and to have my daughter to have the personality she has. She lives in Arizona. Begged us not to build a home in Arizona because that's where she wants us to come stay with them. Mm-hmm. They have a nice house, and I'm like, I oblige her on that. That's why I'm gone all the winter. I'm staying at Janae's.
It sounds like
resort
for
spa.
For a guy who pumped out his first kid at 20, it sounds like he did quite well.
Yeah,
it wasn't bad.
I believe for me it would have been a horror show. It would have been so bad. Oh God!
Thank God that never happened. You would have changed your stars, man.
I don't
yeah,
know.
Maybe you'd be a different person.
Yeah.
It could be. But again, I think back to how I just had zero reaction when told I was going to be a daddy. You would have thought I would have went one way or the other. Instead, I just kind of sat there and really didn't think about it. I probably would have been one of those guys you'd have to shake down for child support.
I can see that a little bit.
I probably would have been one of those guys
I don't think
that goes to jail because he doesn't pay his child support.
I don't think
he's got 4 jobs. He's just trying to bust his ass.
It would have been like the lack of paying attention to it. That's what would have happened. If it
What's
wasn't
that
coming
now?
straight out of your check, you would have never remembered to pay something like that.
No.
Yeah, it's called garnishing back in the day.
Yeah, he would have been garnished.
I would have been such a deadbeat, just ass bag.
I don't think so at all.
Whole
You're pretty
life.
responsible.
You already had a job at 20. That tells me right then you were thinking about it. Maybe you just had a job for drinking money, but at least you paid for your drinks.
I did.
And that's what I'm saying. So
I did.
that you were probably on the path.
Too old to be stoned at work? Jesus, I've had the same conversation. He said, my son talks so much crap to me, it's fantastic. I have to remind him, though, to tone it down in public because others don't understand our relationship. Yeah, so he's 15. Right, I've had to have that talk. Like, hey, just so you know, like, not everybody's going to understand the amount of crap if you're making fun of me for having epilepsy, somebody might think that's mean.
Right.
So you got to be careful.
Yeah, my son never. Once I think my son swolled up one time, and thought this would be the time now.
Going after
when
Dad.
He wanted to scrap with you.
years old, and he's 6 feet, 180, 185. Nice kid, good-looking kid. That was his problem. He was really good-looking. And he swolled up at me, and I looked at him once, and I just said, listen, just to be clear, I'm your father. And I'm going to suggest that you let a little of that air out of your chest before I knock it out. Because at the end of the day, I raised you. I know you've never been in a fight. I grew up in a project, son, and that's not something they're working on. That's a finished product. You don't know how to fight, and I know you've never fought a grown man with a family,
no
and a job and contracts that are out there. You don't want to do this,
right?
That air just slowly sunk out of his chest.
Yeah.
Don't ever swell up on me again. I mean, you want to have a conversation with me, that's fine, but don't swell up.
Oh, that was good. So no pickleball court plans for the projects? They're not no improvements in the works?
No.
It's a finished product.
It's a finished product, baby.
Product, I should say.
The 93X Half-Assed Morning Show.
Oh, here we go again.
On 93X.
Yeah, we're rolling soon. See Willie Miles, got to get out to the golf course.
Oh, yeah, you got a tea time today?
No, not today.
Not today.
Tomorrow.
I got to get a nap. Best part about getting older, napping.
Oh, now, I'm not going to lie. Recliner naps are the best naps.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I've always loved naps, but when you get older, it feels so good.
Oh, my God.
And that's a big change from when you were a kid, right? I mean, as a kid, if your parents want to put you down for a nap, it was miserable.
Fight it.
Yeah, you hated it. Going to bed was terrible. You hated going to bed. Now I can't wait.
No.
Sometimes it's the first thing I think of when the alarm goes off.
Yeah.
I do the math.
How soon can you get back to sleep?
Yeah.
All right. In honor of my birthday, Ashley put together a list of 5 health-related things that happened to you after you turned 50. Believe it or not, that adorable little peckerhead over here to my left, my life partner, Cubby, he turns 50 here in a few months.
What?
Yeah, in March.
Yeah.
My God.
Gonna be 50.
I can't wait. I really want to get into a retirement community. I've been looking forward to that for a long time. My mom complained. I said, you should go to one of those places. And she doesn't want to do it. I thought, what a wasted opportunity. I'd love to do that. And I also can't wait for the senior discounts at like Denny's and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's
I'm
good
gonna walk
living.
into OCB and say, hey, where's my discount? I'm
Yeah.
55 or wherever they start.
You're going to be a solid addition to the 50 and up community, no question about it.
Absolutely.
So these are the health-related things that happen to you after you turn 50. You continue shrinking.
Oh, yeah, I have been shrinking for sure.
Me too. I've gotten shorter. By the time you've turned 50, you've already lost around a centimeter in height in the last 10 years. I think it's
More
been,
than that for me.
Yeah, me too. I used to be taller. Your ears.
My doctor even commented on it, going, "What is happening,
Sir?
You should see a doctor." Oh, wait, I am a doctor.
Your ears get bigger.
Oh no, that's terrible news for my wife. Which, by the way, she can hear me without the radio on right now.
Wow.
Does she have a big set of ears?
Oh,
on
you
her?
take a look next time you see her.
I never noticed.
Well,
Yeah,
she's
I
got a
never did
small head, so that doesn't help.
Oh, that's my problem.
This
too.
isn't good.
I'm usually looking at her can, so I haven't noticed.
Whoa.
Her ears are. She has large ears already. You're saying once she hits 50,
Well, if this is true, yeah. Oh no, trouble is afoot.
your nose get. I don't think I have overly large ears, but
I don't think so
the
either.
Bourne family is notorious for massive, big, fleshy, hanging, disgusting earlobes.
Oh yeah, my grandma had some of those.
I have big-
I always thought it was earrings that did it, but maybe it's
no,
just
I
age.
got big. Your nose will grow.
Another one against me.
Well, that's
after
just,
you turn.
you lie, Wapple. That's why yours.
Well, you got a long ways to go. Maybe you don't make it to 50.
Yeah, hopefully. I don't want the big ears or big nose.
You know how we've been talking quite a bit about kids here this morning, getting older and having kids and that whole mess. What's the old saying? Sometimes you give a kid a hard time if you're their parent, and someone will say, "Hey, you'll give the kid a complex, right?"
Yep.
Right.
Don't give a kid too much heat. When I remember this very vividly, when I was a young kid, you still might catch me doing it once in a while. when I'm bored, when I was a kid, I would pop the cartilage in my nose. Just kind of.
Did that hurt? That sounds painful.
No, it doesn't hurt. I'd kind of play with the tip of my nose and the nostrils. I can still do it today. You kind of pop the cartilage in your nose. It looks like I'm picking my nose. I'm not. But anyway, I had this habit as a kid. And I remember very vividly, my mother was driving a motor vehicle. I was sitting in the back seat. And my mother spots me playing with my nose in the rearview mirror. And she says, "For Christ's sake, quit playing with your nose. Isn't that damn thing big enough already?"
Oh, dang, Mom.
Yeah.
Said that to you?
Yeah.
Your nose isn't big at all.
Well, that's what Mom dumped on me.
Your face grew into your nose then.
Maybe that was what.
Yeah, your nose is. I would never say that was big.
Your memory starts to fade once you get beyond 50. And
You
this
just
is,
said that.
I'm sorry?
You just got done saying
Oh, my God.
Yeah, just,
It's that bad, isn't it? See? Sure, I still think I have a pretty sharp memory, but they get into more specifics here, and this is very much me. And I noticed this being more and more of a problem, especially in the last couple of years. Now, I've been in my 50s now for a couple of years. A name or a word getting trapped in your head and you can't spit it out. That is a big problem for me.
Oh, I have that happen.
Here on this radio show and in my regular life. How many times a day on this show do you hear me say, there's a word I can't find?
Yeah.
That's driving me nuts.
Yeah.
That's driving me nuts because it happens all the time. And then your hairs start to grow from your nose and your ears and your ass and the back of your knees and things. Those are some of the things that happen once you hit 50.
Yeah,
One
that
thing
ear
that's
and
not
nose-
in there, I think that should be in there, is called the triple threat. You have to be aware of that. A lot of people in their 50s aren't aware of this. It's called the triple threat. And it's on one of my CDs. You can pick it up at any
What's that?
iTunes. Triple threat is
C. Willie
as you
Miles.
get
Look up
older-
C. Willie Miles on iTunes.
Triple threat.
And you can hear the joke.
And the whole point is that the older you get, like you cannot control like all your body function. You know when you get ready to sneeze?
Yep.
Like as you're young, you can just sneeze, nothing happens. Well, now when you get to be 50, you sneeze. First, it starts out as a cough, and it turns into a sneeze and a fart. You do all three at the same time, and it's gonna scare you. It hasn't happened to you yet. It's gonna happen, and you're gonna go, "What the hell just happened?" Because as you get older, your body can't control everything at once. So then you think next time you do it, because it scared me to death.
You think, my God, all of the entrances and exits on my body are compromised suddenly.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Seems dangerous.
And it's like
burp sneeze combo.
You know what?
Listen to it. It's a true story. A lot of people will tell you that.
You know what else they didn't mention here in this report on things that happen to your body after you turn 50? They didn't mention anything about the old Brajol. It naps a lot more than it used to. It gets very sleepy. And I got to go ahead and wake it up. It used to always be wide awake, but nowadays I got to wake it up.
Tap it around a little bit.
Yeah, but you don't want it to wake up now anymore. I mean, you were going to retire from sex at 50. Was that when you?
Yes.
Or was it younger even?
I think I announced that I was retiring from sex when I hit 45.
Okay, so
it's been like a Motley Crue type of a retirement.
You've come out of retirement for a while.
It's like a Kiss, Motley Crue, Rolling Stones type of a retirement. I keep hanging on, but yeah, it gets sleepy now once you turn 50. The flippin' Brajol. It's like, Josh, it's like I'm Richard Dreyfuss and my penis is Bill Murrah from that scene in Groundhog Day.
Wow.
Not Groundhog Day.
What about Bob?
What about Bob? Bob!
Come on, man. I need you here. What are you doing?
Other obvious answers like, I think we covered this, bedtime is much, much earlier and more valuable than it used to be.
Hot Cocoa Jesus and I were texting back and forth about this the other day. She had asked my opinion on somebody invited her to go to dinner at 7, and she wanted to know how ridiculous that was. That's ridiculous.
That's crazy. Come on.
I don't do that no more.
That doesn't make any sense whatsoever.
Dude, I'm down to 5:45. That's the latest. That's the latest I will go. 5:45.
Okay, good.
Yeah. It's got to go. It's got to be a bistro. It can't be like a major restaurant. In and out 45 tops.
See, Willie Miles,
shows come on at 7.
That's true. The ball game starts at 7. The your favorite television.
Exactly.
All right, we got to get out of here. Of course, thank you very much, C. Willie, for popping by.
So nice to see you.
For my
Happy
special
birthday, brother.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it quite a bit. Before we go, again, one of the greatest gifts I've ever received for a birthday present. Josh got me this finger bang drum machine where I can just with my fingertips. For you folks who drop Molly and fentanyl and go to the clubs, I've got some more of that. What's that style of music again?
Dubstep.
Or what do they call it now? EDM.
Okay, you ready? I'm brand new to this, so bear with me.
Oh,
wow.
Dude, I love some of the sounds on that thing.
A nice build-up.
And then you go, get the hand clap or something going. Here we go. Come on.
We're going to have to get some cables to run that through the board.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. You can hear it really good.
Oh, my God.
It's like you're playing some sort of video game.
I'm almost past level 1.
He's playing Contra.
Yeah, it does sound like Contra.
You're getting lit up.
So, C. Willie was saying, to save your marriage, Nick, you shouldn't bring that home.
Right.
Should I text your wife and say, how's she going to I love listening to that thing.
Tell her you got me a drum machine, and her reaction is not going to be positive.
Oh, no.
I can guarantee
I
you
never
that.
even considered that.
But that's okay, because I want her out.
Oh, no.
I want her out the house.
Magic playing Machinist Jesus, he's right. Very Aldo Nova. That does
Aldo Nova.
That's a great reference.
The song was Fantasy back in the day. Damn, bam.
That's perfect.
Oh, Aldo Nova. Whatever happened to that prick? Okay,
we could
gotta
probably find an Aldo Nova version on YouTube without the drums, and we could hook it up through there, and you could play along.
This is tomorrow. The rest of the week is dedicated to the music of Aldo Nova.
Happy birthday to Cerberus Jesus from your brother-in-law, banging Serb's sister Jesus. My goodness. Happy birthday to Nick's Eskimo Pie brother Jesus. Happy birthday to the man, the myth, the woodsman, still young and hung, Radio Jesus.
Oh.
And for everybody else, happy Radio Christmas. And, of course, happy birthday to Nick's twin, Steve, as well.
The 93X Half-Ass Morning Show. 93.
The 93X Half-Ass Morning Show podcast is sponsored by Standard Heating and Air Conditioning. New episodes drop each weekday. If your podcast platform has ratings, go ahead and give us 5 stars and maybe give our enemies 1. Thanks, and here's a word from our sponsor.
Standard Heating and Air is looking for an accounting administrator and customer service representatives to join their team. Learn more at standardheating.com/careers today.